welcome to this episode of Generation BTS, the podcast. I'm Christine, I'm 28, and I've been in ARMY for just about a year now. And with me, I've got Natasha.
I'm Natasha, I'm 19 years old, and I've been ARMY for about 6 years.
Happy birthday. You're no longer 18, you're now 19.
Woohoo!
On that, I'm Leanne, I'm 33, and I've been ARMY for about 7-8 months now.
Nice. All right, we're all here. Just so you know, we are not experts on music, BTS, or K-pop.
We're just fans sharing our love for the boys.
And please be aware, we do swear.
Okay, so just to put a little bit of context into this episode, it's not going to come out for a little while, but the last one we recorded was the proof reaction episode when we were quite down, and now it's been 2 weeks and a day since the big festive dinner, and obviously it's been a bit of a roller coaster since then, I think you can say. Like, it was one really sad day, and then a bit of confusion, and then we had Comforting King JK come on Be Live and cheer us all up, and then we've had like a really steady stream of like news and stuff since then, I'd say. I think I wanted to say that that's when we're recording, just because if we keep bringing stuff from this album that we're about to review back to that, then you'll know why. Should we do a bit of an emotional check-in just to sort of see where we are all at this moment in time? Do you want to start, Natasha?
I'm feeling pretty good. Really loving the demos of the Proof album, and I'm just trying to listen to them and reminisce back to old albums and enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I still don't listen to For Youth and Yet to Come. And maybe it's because we reviewed the lyrics.
And we had to, for the performances, the music show performances, Christine refused to watch them by herself.
Yeah.
So not only did I have to watch them when they came out, because I can't not consume the content when it first comes out, but then Christine had come back and be like, do you want to watch it again? And I'm like, I've already cried about this one, but yeah, let's.
I avoid stuff that hurts. Like, I just wouldn't have watched it, I think. Obviously, I felt like I had to. But yeah, I think I was sad for like a few days. I didn't listen to any of their music at all. And then I sort of slowly but surely made my way back in with some of the solo albums at first. Now I'm back to a place where I listen to them every morning and I feel happy about it. And I don't cry even at the sad songs. But it was a bit of a journey to get there. And yeah, excited at this stage about what's to come. J-Hope's album will be out by the time this comes out, but now it's on Friday, we're getting his first single, and yeah, everything that we've had in the meantime. I've not played in the song yet, but
I've been playing that a lot. I'm on like level 111.
Nice.
Admittedly, I've had the whole day off.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not very good at phone games.
It's not hard.
Okay.
It's not a hard game.
Yeah. All right, maybe I'll check it out then. Leanne, do you want to tell us how you're feeling?
Yeah, I'm okay. I think I struggled a lot because I've only been ARMY for a little while, and also I'm the oldest of the three of us, so I'd pinned a lot of our future plans and hopes on something in the next year, and then that suddenly sort of disappeared overnight.
Yeah.
I was like delivering a workshop in Portugal at the height of my career when the announcement came in, and had to step out to go cry in the bathroom.
I cried in a meeting.
And obviously Christine and I weren't together, so then I've got to make it through the day, go to this dinner with all of these people who I've never met before, but I have to like schmooze them and come back, call Christine, cry on the phone, and then like put back on my adult face and go back and adult.
And that day was so confusing as well.
It was such a confusing day.
Yeah.
And then I watched the dinner at like 1 a.m.
Yeah. I avoided it because I couldn't.
Christine had to wait for me to come home.
Yeah.
So then I had to fly back. And then she was like, do you want to watch the dinner? And I was like, no. And apologies about my voice. My voice is really, really off because I've just spent the last 5 days at Glastonbury. Like, I streamed JK and Charlie Proof in my tent at like 2 a.m. on like my last like 10% of battery when I'm in a field, and there's no way that I'm going to get like extra battery, but I had to do it. And it was brilliant. It was really, really brilliant. But I've had a bit of I've had a bit of an up and down, and I'm not there yet, but I think I will get there.
I was really sad that you weren't here because I really thought that would have made me feel better. Luckily, I've got a friend at work who's in the know, but at least, I remember he said to me, like, oh, do you want to come to this meeting that we're having? And I was like, no, really tearing up. And then I did go to the meeting, and then I was crying in the meeting, and he texted me to be like, you can leave. And I was like, no, I'm already here now. I can just, like, run out of the meeting. So it was definitely
complicated.
Yeah, complicated like that. But then I think once we watched the dinner, I thought it made a lot of sense what they said, why they needed the break. I fully sort of understand and support the decision now. I really hope that they get the time that they need to be inspired and trust that when they say they will come back, they will come back.
Yeah.
I think obviously from the dinner, there was a point where Sugar said something about, oh, if we'd managed to go on break when we wanted to in 2020, we would have been back by now. So clearly there's a plan for coming back.
Yeah.
And also that gives us some idea of timelines potentially. And they've said that they're going to release 7 albums in that time, obviously. So they need that time to put out that amount of content, if you get what I mean. So we had a bit of time to be like, oh, we're sad. But then all of a sudden it was like, but look at all this content. Yeah.
We considered going to Lola. We looked into it, but I've got a prior engagement. But I'm happy for new Hobie.
Yeah.
Hobie's latest concept photos, very dark.
Very dark.
Very scary.
Yeah.
I love angry Hobie. So I'm on board. I love happy Hobie, but angry, sad Hobie. It's different.
Yeah. We talk about left and right some more. I just really wanted to say that I just thought he looked so beautiful. He's never looked so beautiful in my entire life. I wrote in my notes, I was like, was Charlie Puth still there? I did not see him the first few times I watched it. It was in the black tub specifically.
Yeah.
But the hair sort of swept out of his face when he does the like little look up and he sort of leans on Charlie Puth's shoulder. So he was there.
Someone was there.
Someone was there. Yeah, so that was a highlight for me. But yeah, we're not out on Charlie Puth, I wanted to say as a podcast. I know there's a bit of debate in the fandom, but yeah, I think he's fine.
Fans.
Yeah.
What do you think of left and right?
It's just too much to say. It's just.
Is it the hottest you've ever seen him?
No, I prefer long hair.
Interesting.
The dimple era.
Love yourself hair.
Love yourself hair.
Yeah. No, true. JK rocks the long hair. I think on some of them, I know a lot of the fans are like, "Oh my god, try the scissors," and I'm like, "Oh, it's fine. I can have long hair. I can have short hair. I don't mind."
Yeah, but what about Youngie's current long hair?
Love it. Love it.
Love.
But then I wouldn't be unhappy if he cut it.
I'll get lost.
I honestly wouldn't be, because I think in the Soup season 1, he looks great. He's got short hair. D2 era, he looks great. He's got short hair, kind of like the curtains. Yeah, no, I think he rocks the short hair and the long hair, personally. I think that leads us neatly on to a section that I've called Bias Update. So, the first thing I've written is, it all started with HYYH.
Do you want to say what it is? Or you want to just seed it? I
want to tell everyone the story.
Right.
No.
Fine.
No, I thought long and hard about this is my point. But yeah, I think I've officially changed my bias after a long think. Because I know in the first episode I said it was Tay. And I cut out the bit where Leanne said, "Have you decided on your bias?" Because I was going back and forth even then. Even then. I was very sure at the start. And then ever since I watched HYYH, which was before Christmas, I think I've been swayed.
Teetering.
Yeah. So I had a little period where I was like, oh, is it Tay? Is it Yoongi? Is it Tay? Is it Yoongi? Maybe I'm double biased. I can't be illoyal and all this sort of stuff. And then
you don't want to be a tater.
No, I didn't want to be a tater. Leanne called the term tater. So that one has been used a lot in our household. But then I had a night out when I think I was a little drunk and quite bored, and then I was messaging with my friend, and then all of a sudden I had this big drunken revelation and told my friend, I was like, I think my bias has changed. Becky, shout out to my friend Becky if you listen. And then the next morning I was like, oh my god, no, I drunkenly confessed my bias changed to my friend. And then she texted me a photo of him the next morning being like, 5% to you, you're brand new bias, Christine. Here you go. So that was funny.
We tested a lot here.
Yeah, we did.
Where I was like, right, watch this music video. Who do you see? Is it Tay? Is it Youngie? Tay, Youngie, Tay, Youngie. And she'd be like, it's just Youngie. And I'm like, you've changed.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the most supportive because
No.
I'm like biased for life.
Yeah.
But actually, my appreciation of Tay has gone up
Yeah.
since you became a Tay-ter, because now I have to be like, yeah, but there's Tay. Isn't he so great? And she's like,
No,
he's great.
Tay still is great. I still love Tay. I think I said in the first episode, didn't I, that my main bias wrecker at the time was Yoongi, and I was expecting it to sort of still fluctuate, and it just hasn't. He's just like steamrolled it in there.
He's great.
But I think what's happened is just bias and bias wreckers swapped. And that's
Okay.
it. And I still think Tay's the most beautiful man in the whole world. I do.
Agreed.
But he's not as beautiful as Yoongi's got me smile.
That's not true.
He is. In my heart.
Emotionally, in your
my
heart,
heart, in my
that
heart.
can be true.
Yeah.
Factually, that's not true.
Yeah.
Tay is still the most handsome thing on earth,
He is.
alive.
I think if you were going to do like a people most handsome man of whichever year, Tay should win. He should win that
Every year.
Every year. Yeah. Agreed.
So Christine's changed her bias, which means now, and anyone that's been watching the stats will have known that Christine has been cheating because we made some commitments to trying to not pick our bias every time when we give out our awards. But Christine's been living in this illusion where she's allowed to give all of her awards to Youngie because they're not Tay. So from now on, Christine,
It was a masterclass.
you cannot pick Sugar for lots and lots of awards. You can't pick Sugar for as many awards as you have previously.
Fine.
It's a hard burden to carry.
Yes, yeah, because sometimes he's just so great. But yeah, I think all the podcasting has helped as well, because he does write the most beautiful lyrics. He doesn't write the most lyrics. Aaron writes the most.
Yes, he does.
But he just, every time I happen upon a verse of his, I'm like, wow, this is just the most beautifully emotional thing I've ever read, and he's not ever let me down. So yeah, I think that's also part of it for sure. Yeah.
Congratulations on changing your bias.
Thank you.
We've
Does
never-
anyone else have a bias update they'd like to share?
No, JK forever and always.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we get into the album? I think that's enough chat. Right. Okay. So we've got a brand new era, guys. It is about youth. So we're doing the Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1 today. It's an era that in Korean was called HYYH, which translates to the most beautiful moment in life. It's another Chinese phrase that they spell out in the characters that you see on the album cover.
Like, love yourself.
Yeah. And the way that I interpreted that was it's about this short moment in time when you're transitioning into adulthood, the time of your life when you have loads of options, can be whatever you want, obviously, depending on your circumstances, but still, you have more options that you might do later in life. You can choose your line of work, you can choose your uni course if you're that way inclined, you can choose your friend group, which is a beautiful thing. And it's a moment that, is full of possibility. And I think a lot of older people will look back on that time like nostalgically and with regret, or maybe sort of thinking like, oh, I should have cherished that time more.
It's sort of where you're at in your life, actually, Natasha.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I read the notes, actually.
when I read the notes through and when I was listening to some of the lyrics reviews, I was like, because you're at that stage where you're like, you picked your uni and you've decided what you want to do, but like when I was your age, I've gone off to uni to study history and then failed out and then went back to study law. So you're still at this stage where you can like make these big drastic choices and changes if you want to.
Anything.
You don't have to change. Whatever you do, we support you.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is about you now.
I'll become a porn star.
You don't want to become a boss.
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Like JK's personal slave.
Yeah. Is that? I think he's taking on actually at the minute. I've seen it.
I've seen ads for that.
I've already applied.
Nice. So out with uni and with JK. I would take that.
I'd take that.
Yeah. Right. But I think also what they mention a lot on the album is a lot of the sort of pressure and uncertainty that you feel at that stage of your life, because you have all these options, but actually some philosophers and things have argued that having options sort of burdens people, right? Because it's a lot of pressure and you have a lot of like these expectations from other people and from yourself that you should like make something out of yourself. But then you're like, oh, I must chase my dreams, but also I must be able to support myself and be a productive member of society and do what's right for me, but also be in a position where I make enough money. And yeah, so you're sort of a little torn, I would think, and I think I've experienced that myself. Like I probably wouldn't have studied the course that I studied at uni if I hadn't thought like, oh, I must actually get a job after this. Like, yeah. So I think there's a lot of hopes and dreams and possibility, and that makes it a really beautiful moment of your life, but also there's a lot of uncertainty and pressure, and you can obviously different people will relate to that in different ways, but you can feel burdened by that, and I think that comes out in a lot of these songs.
Yes.
Do you feel like that, Natasha?
Like at minute I don't really feel it, but then
I think one of the things that you do have on the horizon, which is really special and beautiful, is that you're going to go traveling, right?
Yeah, in less than a month.
Yeah, it was a bit later for me, but I remember like wanting to be able to do those things and go traveling and do all that. And then I remember all of the like things that I learned about myself and the things that I like and I don't like and the people that I like and don't like whilst I was traveling. And that's a really like, I think you'll feel that when you get there. It's really beautiful doing it, but you don't necessarily realise how formative it is until much later.
Yeah. I think to bring it back to what we were going to talk about, it also is an important era, this, because it marks the start of the Universe.
Oh, yes. I went to Universe school.
Yeah,
between Are You Late Too and this one, I went to Universe school. It was great. I liked it.
Good. So I don't want to spend loads of time on it, but the Universe story, for anyone that doesn't know, is the fictional storyline created by Big Hit and told through various media forms. So some music videos, books, comic books, mobile games, all sorts. And it tells the story of the fictional characters that the BTS members play and their trials and struggles as they move from this late teen school phase into their adult lives. They all bring this sort of childhood trauma to the fore through their growing into adulthood. It's all quite dark, so I've put the words trigger warning in here just because of the themes that come up. There are some themes of suicide and self-harm and things like that are brought up through the Universe story. Just to sort of, because we're going to touch on it in the I Need You music video, there's Yoongi's mom. She commits suicide in a fire, and that obviously impacts him and his relationship with his father. Namjoon grows up really poor. Again, these are the fictional members, and has to pay a lot of family medical bills, so he has a very sort of strained relationship with money.
I mean, that's why I has to live in the crate.
Yeah, exactly, in the container. Taeyong's dad is abusive and an alcoholic. Hosuk is left as a child at a fair by his mom.
With a Snickers.
With his Snickers. She gives him the Snickers bar, tells him to cover his eyes, and then fucks off. Which is really, really sad. Jimin has survivor guilt because he sort of wanders into a flower arboretum and sees a child there who's sort of tied up and being abused, and he runs away, doesn't say anything about it, and then sort of ends up haunted by this experience. Jungkook is ignored by his mom's new family. He runs away from home. He struggles with depression, self-harm, and suicidal ideation, which you can see from a lot of the clips. Jin has pressure from his absent-minded father, and you obviously find out, if anyone's familiar with the Universe story, you find out why the father is absent-minded later on. But yeah, Jin's having a pressured relationship with his father. He's from quite a wealthy background, but still he's sort of feeling that pressure and that sort of, oh, my father never had any interest in me type of feelings. So throughout the story, they sort of seek comfort in the group, and their fates are interlinked through the butterfly effect and through Seokjin being tasked with sort of traveling back in time and saving the boys from ruining or ending their lives by acting based on this childhood trauma that they're struggling with. So it's really complicated, but
really great.
Yeah, really good. But yeah, anyway, enough about the Universe story. Yeah, should we just get started on the album?
Yep.
Right, okay. So the album, this one, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 1, it was released on the 29th of April, 2015. with I Need You as the lead single. It peaked at number 1 on the South Korea Weekly Daeon chart and number 2 on the Billboard World Albums chart. And it also, very excitingly, earned BTS their first ever music show win with I Need You. So a very happy moment. We'll talk about that later when we talk about I Need You. But yeah, there isn't a R&B live about this, but Suga does a bit of an album review. His face isn't in it at all. It's just his hands for holding the album, but his hands are very beautiful.
It's like one of those like QVC reviews.
Yeah.
Like where it's just showing the content like a YouTuber.
Yeah, I guess we can bring up what he says throughout the songs, but he starts it off by like getting the photo card out, and he's like, "Oh, it's Jin, it's not me," and then he throws it behind him.
Silly.
So, yeah, so funny. So on the Big Hit website, they talk about the album, and obviously they do the little blurb. It talks about the group growing and developing, and they're no longer just young boys, it says, but I think they mean school-age boys. Mm-hmm. It references the musical transformation of the group. So this is very clearly not like a straight-out hip-hop album, mm-hmm. right? So each track has distilled and poetic pop emotions that allows the listener to sense the soft transformation, it says. Yeah. And it says, after discussing themes of school, dreams, happiness, and love in the School trilogy, they have now chosen the theme of youth and the most beautiful moment in life, the start of one's young adulthood, in which the beauty of opportunity coexists with the uncertainty and pressure around finding the right path and what that means for you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. They sort of specified about part 1 focusing more on the uncertain future and the glamour of youth. And they mentioned that the vocal line members have now participated in writing and producing as well. So it's a group effort.
Welcome.
Guys. Everyone's involved. So yeah, anyone have any initial thoughts on the album?
It's quite sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't necessarily love the concept of it, but
I think it's beautiful. Like yes, there are parts that are sad, but there's value in art being sad and sort of making you reflect, I think. But each person relates to it the way that they want. I don't know how original the concept is in K-pop, but I've heard, like, from what I was reading up about it when I studied for this, it was like, oh, BTS is a beautiful concept. This is very like a special thing.
I'd agree. I think we have, with the most beautiful moment of life, we've arrived at the BTS that I like know and love, which is some hip hop, some like happy, jumpy, vibey songs, and then some really nice, soft vocals interspersed with quite beautiful lyrics ultimately and beautiful concepts throughout. And I think it fits because that's also where they were at within that stage. So you really see that maturity come through. You still have some sticking it to the haters in Dope, but you have a lot more complicated things going off. Nowhere near as complicated as Map of the Soul. No. And obviously you've got Converse High as well, which is just
about Converse,
about shoes. But I think you're really starting to see them grow into that. And I really like the look and feel of this era. Yeah, I'm a big fan actually. I'm surprised you're not a fan.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is around the time when they start taking off as well, I'd say. Like, this is when critics start to take notice and they've got these messages that they want to get out there. And I think that's the sort of deeper meaning is clear in this one, even though it's not based on a book like Map of the Soul. So yeah, should we start off then with the very first song, which is an intro that they released as a comeback trailer. It's a rap solo by my very brand new bias, Mr. Yoongi.
Right, enjoy talking about. Tell us about Suga's intro.
Suga's intro, it is a track by Suga and Slow Rabbit. They wrote it, and then it was produced by Slow Rabbit. It picks up the themes of the existential fears, and it's sort of him talking about realizing his passions and his dreams and whether doing that is going to be what makes him happy eventually. Yeah, just to get into the lyrics, it starts off.
Do you not want to start with the heavy breath?
Yeah.
Oh, right. You said the lyrics.
Okay. It starts off with some really heavy breathing, and then he moves into this big basketball metaphor that he uses for the entire song, really.
Yeah.
So it starts off saying, the rim looks far away today, sighs pile on the court, which I presume is the heavy breathing. The boy who is afraid of reality is at peace only when he throws the ball. what I'm throwing at the rim are endless thoughts and life's worries. So I think I got from that what he's doing is sort of comparing the basketball game and maybe even the pressure of making a basket with like the fun of playing the game. And like, yeah, he's going to get to it later, but it sort of becomes a metaphor for chasing your dreams, I think. He talks about this in the behind the scenes as well. He talks about basketball sort of taking his mind off all of these worries that he was piling on himself when he was around that age of like 18, 19. He references being sort of youthful as well. He says, I pretend to know the world, but my body's not ready, and the court is my playground. So sort of youthful things. His body's not fully grown yet. He talks about the pressure of succeeding. He says, thoughts fill my mind, so I throw my future instead of the ball. I don't fit the horoscope and the standards of success, which is really harsh on himself. Thanks to that, my worry spread like cancer. God damn it. That's when he like shouts out, God damn it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you connected the heavy breathing to him being tied on the basketball court, because even when I read through it, I just assumed he was just being sexy. Like when he whispers sugar, I just thought he just wanted to start with heavy breathing to, you know.
And maybe it's just it's two thoughts in his head. But
yeah, maybe it's dual meaning.
He does talk about the sort of breath on his chin a lot and stuff, but he didn't say anything about being sexy in the behind the scenes.
Well, that's what I got from it.
Fine. And then he's talking about the basketball game as his dream. The heavy breath on his chin are budding dreams, he says. Running on the basketball court is like running and chasing your dreams, is what I got from that. And he's happy when playing basketball and happy when pursuing his music dreams. And then he says, this moment feels like it'll last forever, but the sun is setting, the night comes again, reality gets destroyed. When I snap out of it, I'm just a scared idiot again. Yeah. Which I think is relatable, and also it links to the album title because it's sort of talking about the moment where he's sort of enjoying himself, having fun, and it's ending, it's sort of fleeting. And he talks about being scared of the looming reality. Others are running ahead, but why am I still here? And again, I was just like, well, how are you feeling like this? What I was doing at 18, 19 was like nowhere near what you were doing, but still you're like, oh, everyone else is better than me. Which, yeah, I thought that was relatable. But then I also thought maybe actually if even sort of super incredibly successful people like him are feeling like this, then maybe we should all just stop comparing ourselves to each other.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah. Obviously he wasn't where he is now then, but he was still like...
He was more successful than a lot of people.
Exactly, yeah. And then he said... If you're trapped in the thin judgment of others, the sun will set on your life like a court. What am I doing with my life? This moment won't ever come again. So he talked a little bit about this in the behind the scenes, and he said that, I think he says from middle school when he sort of started to think, right, I definitely do want to do music, and he started getting jobs at production studios and stuff like that. And people would say to him, oh, like, you're never going to make it. You're throwing your life away. You're going to bankrupt your family, which I thought was really harsh. And that made him worry. He said he kept saying, oh, I had all these worries. So
do you think it is people, or do you think it's his worries?
Well, he definitely said in the behind the scenes, he said people kept telling me,
don't pursue music, it's
don't
not
pursue
sustainable.
music, it's not sustainable. Obviously, we know he's talked about how his parents weren't supportive. You probably are like one in a million that makes it, right? But he was obviously very determined.
I think it's something that we can't necessarily relate to as well, because there's a lot more failed actors and singers out there than there are successful actors and singers out there. But there's not very many failed IT transformation consultants or client managers. Like there's not like the careers that we've fallen into are very, there's no success or failure. Whereas I think a lot of the arts are very, you're either mega successful or it's been a waste of time. Yeah. And you can't like, create a living and generate a living on that. So it's a big risk.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it comes up again in Dope. But especially when you dedicate your entire life and you work so hard and you're like, this is all I'm doing with all of my time and I'm not studying and I'm not...
You don't have a backup.
You don't have a backup, exactly, yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, he had all this pressure and he said he wrote it about how he felt at 19 or 20 before he went to Seoul. But this album also did come out at a difficult time for Big Hit as a company because they were sort of at their lowest financially at this point. Obviously they put a lot of pressure into the band and it wasn't necessarily taking off. I don't know what sort of ambitions they'd had for it, but I know that they had like an investment from an external company because this external company were like, okay, well, you can pay us back when the band is more successful.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I Need You was either one of the lowest budget or the lowest budget music video they did. So yeah,
interesting. It doesn't look low budget. Oh, but they had the managers and stuff, didn't they? Like the staff played different roles.
Yeah, and they used the manager's car.
Yeah,
in the car scene.
In the car scene.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think it might have also been a reflection of this being a time where the possibility of the quote unquote failing was maybe there.
And it's one of those where it comes into the Youngie RM place in Big Hit as well, right? So we know that those boys in particular carried a lot of the responsibility because they were on the production and had that relationship with Bang PD, so they held that responsibility in a way that some of the other boys didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Or didn't have to.
Yeah. He concludes the song with saying, am I happy now? Ultimately, now that I'm pursuing these dreams that I have. And he says, yeah, I'm happy now. And then he does a lot more breathing. So yeah, I thought it was a clever metaphor. He's using something that's like a child's game or leisure activity to illustrate the metaphors of like the fun moments and the moments of intense pressure and anxiety of choosing the right path in this sort of moment in your life, which I thought was really nice.
Agreed.
And it's also sexy.
I really like the trailer.
Yeah.
I think it's fine without it, but I think it's great with it. But it's probably up there in the would you listen to it? Probably not.
Oh, I listen to
it. I know.
Honestly.
Well,
but I love his solo stuff.
You love his solo stuff. Whereas with the trailer, it really sort of pulls you in. I think I really enjoy it more with the comeback trailer and the animation.
Yeah.
As opposed to just playing on Spotify.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's very much at his angry rapping phase here. I think he sort of develops his craft a little bit more later on, but I think he's able to convey an insane amount of emotion, even though I don't know what he's saying. I think I know how he feels when he's doing this.
I think I'm saying with Leanne, I'm not a massive fan of it, but I do enjoy the animation and listening to it.
Should we talk about the comeback trailer then, quickly?
Yeah.
So it's like a cartoon. There's a school, there's autumn leaves, the basketball, school is over, there's a boy shooting hoops, obviously that complements the song.
Is that him?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some scenes of him running around. You know, he runs on the track and then he runs in the street, looking quite desperate when he's running in the street. And I think he's sort of developing and working on getting better. They see him like shooting the hoops and the running, but then also he's sort of running towards something, which is this golden flower that comes up later.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets to it, but as he gets to it, the leaves fly away, which I sort of thought was an illustration of the beautiful moment, most beautiful moment in life. Like by the time you appreciate it,
it's gone. It's gone. Exactly. That's why you don't appreciate it. That's why you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how beautiful this moment is in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there is the phrase, you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
That's true. Very applicable.
And that's what Youngie's getting here.
Yeah. So I thought the flower symbolizes youth. And it's a lily, so symbolically, apparently lilies in Eastern culture symbolize innocence.
No.
So
no live performances.
There are no live performances of this. He does talk about it in the album review, and he said the beat that he used was reminiscent of dribbling on a basketball court, and the drum sample was made using a bouncing basketball.
Genius boy.
Genius boy. And then he talked about these being some of his favorite lyrics. And he talked a lot about how he suffered writing it. So he said he rewrote it like 3-4 times. He'd spend like a couple days on each version. The company kept being like, no, this isn't good enough. He was about to like give up after the 4th rewrite. But when the last version got approved, he said he was dancing around his room even though he had like 2 hours sleep. So that was cute. What? Wow, this is an anti crowd that I'm in.
Anti-sugar crowd.
Yeah.
No, adorable.
Right, should we move on to the second song, which is I Need You?
I Need You, girl.
Right, okay. Written by RM, Sugar J-Hope, P-Dog, Hitman Bang, and Brother Sue.
Oh.
And it was produced by P-Dog. And it starts out with the big bit where they say fall and everything.
Fall.
Everything.
Fall.
Everything. And then they say it's dissolving. And then they do the fall everything again. And they say it's all falling. So you know straight away, like, it's sad.
It's a breakup song.
It's a breakup song. let's get onto the lyrics then. So Sugar starts this one off and he's really distraught. He says, "My life is ruined because of you. I don't even want you anymore. I don't give a shit. Your excuses won't even work."
Jesus.
Yeah, he's so unhappy. And then Hobie comes in and he says, "Everything you said is just to cover up your faults. I hate you so bad." And then they go into the pre-chorus. Tay and RM do a little harmony. And then they go, "You're my everything." And then Sugar goes in with, "Please get out of my life." And then V comes back saying, "I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me." Shit.
They're torn.
Yeah, really torn. A lot of suffering is happening. So then we get into this chorus, and obviously the "I need you, girl." Way. And it's, "Why do I love you and try to forget you when I know you don't care?" And then "I need you, girl. Why do I need you when I know it hurts me?" And then we get the really lovely high notes where they go, "I need you, girl. You're beautiful. I need you, girl. You're so cold." And Jimin does the big like falsetto bits, and I think also JK does them, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into RM's own distraught verse, which starts with, it goes round and round. "Why do I keep coming back? Nothing can help me. It's my heart, my mind and soul, but they don't listen. I'm just talking to myself again." And then he seems to take a bit of a turn. He goes, "But you don't say anything, please. I'll do my best. The sky is blue again," which, you know, it sounds like he's sort of on the up and up. But then Jin comes in and goes, "Oh, maybe because the sky is blue, my tears stand out more. Why can't I leave you?"
Oh,
so then it's, yeah.
Back to the break.
We're tortured again.
It's turbulent.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a bridge where they say, "Just tell me you want to break up. Just tell me it wasn't love. I don't have the courage to do that." So basically they're like, "You just end it now." And I think that's all I had to say about the lyrics. They repeat the chorus a couple of times after that. But yeah, it's really desperate and obsessive. I thought it was very like young lovey.
It is very young love.
Because you're like, "Oh, I love him so much." Like, "Oh my God, I can't live without you." And like,
and the concept of having to ask the other person to break up with you because you can't is very, very young love. It's just an immature love. Place.
And like, you're just, "I'm never going to be the same. I hate you." And like, I just, so dramatic.
"I want to be with you, but I don't want to be with you, but I don't want to leave you, but you have to leave me." It's almost like no, you hang up.
Yeah.
I mean, the chorus was, when I saw the lyrics of the chorus, that was really interesting because you get the like, "I need you, you're so beautiful. I need you, you're so cold."
Yeah.
Like, wait, how can you? It's this juxtaposition of like really loving someone, but then I feel like they might be a bit mistreating.
Yeah.
As well. So why do you stay in a almost toxic end of relationship just because you're drawn into someone?
Yeah.
And I just didn't expect it to be that. I didn't expect her to be on the rocks. They need her.
Yeah.
But no, they don't want her. They just need her.
They need her.
My favourite lyric is when Aram's saying that he's a fool. It just reminds me of Timini Pabo.
That's good. That's a deep cut. But sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's torture. That's all it is. I mean, I think it's either it's like a toxic whatever relationship, or it's like it's clearly one where someone wants to stay and someone's being quite like distant. Yeah, they've sort of, we haven't done Dark and Wild yet, but there's Danger. It's kind of also about the sort of, "Oh, I keep checking my phone, you've not texted," and blah blah blah, and like it's sort of picking up that theme of like them just not giving them the assurance that they want, and at this point they're like really on the rocks because of it.
I only wrote down sort of one other lyric, which was the "I need you, girl. Why do I need you when I know it hurts me?" And obviously, you know, post-festa dinner, I was like, why do I need you when I know it hurts me? Why am I still here?
Oh, at least you can relate.
And they're so beautiful and yet so cold.
Oh, they're not cold. They're just taking some time for themselves. It's fine.
Should we go into the MV?
Yeah, so the MV is the start of the Universe story officially. Again, with Danger, I think they've used the clip of Taika using his fringe and Danger in the Universe story at one point, but I don't think that's officially a Universe video. I wrote that it was beautifully tragic. So it has all the lovely scenes of the boys being together and like having fun together, and those are so beautiful and precious. But then you also have all the tragedies, and I think all the tragedies sort of start off. You get a hint of every person's backstory in this. I wrote that the cherry blossoms at the start, this was a thought I had very late because I watched it like 15 times. But then, yeah, I saw the cherry blossoms and I was like, oh my God, the cherry blossoms. Yeah, that's like a really short-lived, really beautiful moment. It's like the most beautiful moment in life because I've not been to Korea to see them, but I think that they bloom for a very short amount of time.
They do bloom for a short amount of time.
Yeah, I thought that was clever when I realized it. It starts off all the big storylines of the universe story. So you have Jimin in the bathtub with the water, and you've got Yoongi on the fire in the hotel room. We have JK being beaten up, which
it's hard.
Yeah, it looks like he's sort of going out to start fights. But yeah, it's tough to watch. That's when they use the manager to play the guy that beats him up,
right.
Don't they? And then we've got Hosuk being medicated, so you see him like take the pills and then drops them in the sink, and then at one point when he's with the boys and he's happy, he throws the pills into the fire. And then you've got Junie at the gas station and the customer that drops the cash on the ground, which is a bit of a deep cut, but like...
because we see June go back in time, don't we, later, and stop at that moment.
Yeah, I think the first, like, however many times I watched I before I sort of found out about the universe story, I did not notice that cash on the ground, but no, I'm like, oh my God, that's such a big moment.
It's interesting how... I did it.
Yeah,
I said it's interesting.
You did.
It's interesting how seemingly insignificant moments can change your life.
Exactly. And then we've got Taekil and his dad.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, Tay shines in this.
He does.
Like, however much you saw younger, Tay's just like, his acting is on another level.
He's so good at the acting, mentally so good. He says in the behind the scenes, he says, I've never hit anyone before. And he sort of, like, practices how he's going to do the arm swing, and it's just very cute. Yeah, and you have Jin sort of on his own in a room, and he's kind of observing the others, and but you also see these scenes of him clearly being really tortured. And there's some bits where they're by the sea. They're by a construction piece. Obviously, we know that there's a day at the sea that they've had where Tay goes up the construction thing and then jumps off. But there's a scene in I Need You where Tay sort of looks at the construction and then out towards the sea, and then they go straight to Jin.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we've got the 6 little lily petals in the white room. Jin has lily petals, and then he drops them on the ground, and then they burn. And then you see the lily sort of bloom on Jin's chest, which, like I said at the top, it symbolizes sort of purity, but it also, the white of the lily symbolizes death and sadness. It works both ways because they're like taking away the innocence of youth and replacing it with death and sadness.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And if it's within the universe of him going back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to avoid that death and sadness.
Yeah.
V spit when he spits. I was like, whoa, never noticed that before. Really liked RM's blonde hair. Wow. And then JK's fight scene, I put TT, which is like, it's like a sad face.
Yeah.
And then obviously flower on Jin's shirt, linking to story and stuff like that.
Yeah. I saw this movie director guide. He did like a reaction to the behind the scenes video, and he was like, oh, it's so weird how they filmed that with the flower on Jin's shirt just using a projector, because he was like, oh, that's a really, really like low budget method. But he did say he was surprised at the amount of sets that there was in it. Like even the Junie at the gas station, that's a set that they built. It's not a gas station.
It's not an actual gas station.
Yeah.
And they're along the train line, right?
That's not a set. That's a
That's
line.
real life.
Yeah. So yeah, and I wrote that they all look great in this era.
They all look great in this era.
They do. Jimmy's got his hat. Jimin in the bathtub. I hope he says in the behind the scenes, he's like, Jimin's naked.
Who doesn't want wet Jimin?
Exactly.
No one I know.
Yeah. And I wrote as a question, because I've gone back and forth on this, but does it have anything to do with the song?
No.
Okay. I wrote, just to give my take, I wrote that if it hadn't been for the word girl, it could do, because I guess it could be about like, I need you, the friend group, and then when I'm away from the friend group, I'm like, oh, this blah, blah, blah. But that is a very like...
You're stretching.
Yeah, you are stretching. But the word girl is there still. So there's no girls in the MV.
No girls in the MV.
Yeah.
Some of the sentiment does fit.
Yeah.
Like, because you have the happiness and the sadness.
Yeah.
And I guess the MV fits within the concept of the most beautiful moment in life, right? Mm-hmm. Where you've got this real joy of youth and friendship and choices and opportunity. You get a lot of wistfulness of them looking out at the ocean and what the possibilities could be, but then the reality of the actual pressures of the stories that they're holding.
Yeah.
So I think it fits more within the concept of the most beautiful moment of life than it does within the lyrics of I Need You.
Yeah. I also wrote as a second question, who is the best OT7 actor, but I think we've concluded it's Tay. It's Tay.
You can put your bets on JK if you want.
No, I'll get it to Tay this time.
Does Jin get a shout?
Yeah, so the thing is Jin gets a shout after you know about the universe.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get a shout before that.
In I Need You, he doesn't.
In I Need You, he doesn't do very much. Whereas, and that's like the pre-universe school, what is Jin's thing.
Yeah.
But post-universe school, obviously, you get a lot of those. It's that wistfulness, isn't it? And the concentration and you're putting thoughts into his head.
Yeah. Jin did say in the behind the scenes that his face couldn't have looked any better.
Of course.
Which is on brand. Yeah. Should we move on to performances?
Yes.
So I think we picked out the one where they won their first number one, and then we picked out the one outside the palace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think big performance happenings that I wrote down was opening bit. They're all lying down on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And
and Hobie's over Tay.
Yeah.
Tay on props.
So Sugar sits up, and then Tay lifts Hobie up with his body. He goes up on all four, and Hobie just sits on top of him. I don't understand how they do it. I want to try with someone to see whether I could lift someone up with my body like that. I'm not sure I could.
Only Hobie. I'd try with Hobie.
Maybe Hobie. Yeah.
I love the shorts.
Yeah.
Right. So everyone's in shorts in the one where they won, except
the
Sugar
first
and
one.
Tay. Yeah, they act a lot when they perform this as well. They all look very tortured still. I wrote especially Jen. And then there's the sexy dance at the chorus with the
neck grab
and body roll. And then I wrote when Jimin makes eye contact with the camera and does the big high note and the body roll and the neck grab. It's just too much. It is, yeah.
No, I enjoyed it.
It affects me personally on a spiritual level when he does that.
It's good that you feel sometimes you have to look away. Because I look away all the time whenever it's getting too intense. I'm always like, this is too much.
I think it's his lips. They put a lot of gloss on his lips, I think, and he's got the wet hair, and then he's doing the eye contact and the body roll and looking sad while looking sexy, and it's
not unhappy about it. I'm not unhappy about it at all.
And then I wrote JK does a big spinny jump kick at the end. We like a spinny jump kick, don't we? Yeah. So they won. The first win that they did was on SBS MTV The Show. It was on the 5th of May 2015.
Oh.
And then they won again on the 7th of May and again on the 8th of May on Mnet and KBS Music Bank respectively. And then they won again later on. But that streak of wins was
we watched them winning, didn't we, the first one when they're all shocked. Yeah,
they're all shocked, and then they do the performance again, but then the next time they win, I think that's when they put on the lipstick and
they do the silly lipstick.
Yeah, I didn't make any big notes about the Palace performance. It was just cool.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Well, not big notes.
Cool.
But I said the Palace performance is very cool.
Yeah.
JK's shirt is a highlight, and he's so sweaty.
Right. Okay.
That's what I wrote.
Watched that more intently than me.
But there's also shorts. Hobie, JK, Tay, and Jimin.
Okay.
And then you linked the squishy guide.
Oh yeah. She talked a lot about the wet hair. She was big on that. Yeah. I think we'll link it, but you can watch it for yourself.
Yeah.
I can't describe what happens in it, so you're just going to have to watch it for yourself. That's another deep cut from Squishy.
Good line.
Yeah.
We think she's hilarious.
Yeah, we do.
Have you watched any Squishy Minjungi on YouTube, Tash?
No.
No. So that's the problem.
You should.
We watch them just us. The so funniest, dumbest, sweetest, most hilarious thing. And it was Squishy that brought the bronze baby to our attention.
It was, yeah. So, yeah, and saying quickly, he didn't talk about this a lot, Sugar, in his album review, but they had 2 versions of the lead single. I think there is a version of this on Proof CD3, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe that was one of those versions. But then they received a new beat, and he preferred that one, so he was working on it frantically to get it ready, because that was quite close to the album release date. Yeah, he enjoyed working on it, basically. So yeah, Hold Me Tight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go to Hold Me Tight.
Hold Me Tight was written by RM Sugar, J-Hope, V, Slow Rabbit, and P-Dog. And then it was produced by Slow Rabbit. Like all the slow songs seems to be produced by Slow Rabbit.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I found the lyrics a bit difficult again in post.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just found them all really difficult.
Okay.
Just all references.
Oh,
Hard.
sad.
Well, I did like it until I coming to this. I had listened to it so many times. It just got to the point where I was just like, I kind of had to just skip it. I was listening to them in order. I'd obviously start being like, yo, I'm going to listen to album. And then I'd listen to first, 3. So it got to a point where it just repetitive. But previously, I did really like the song.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. It's not one of my favorites ever, but it's nice. So RM opens this one and it seems like he's talking about a fight or an imminent breakup. So I thought it was kind of a continuation of I Need You, to be honest.
Yep, I think it is.
Yeah. So he says, I empty my wine glass and loneliness fills me. I should have just given in. Why did I argue over it? And then he says a very RM line, which is, all I did was color you in my paper, but when I look again, the drawing's already finished.
Oh.
Yeah. And I didn't get this one at first, really, but then I read an interpretation of the song saying that the song could be seen as to be about youth and clinging on to youth and letting go of it. And in that way, that line made sense to me because he colors in the shades of youth, as in he lives them through. But then once he looks at the painting, it's already finished. It's already gone because he's already lived it. But yeah, I don't know whether
beautiful.
It is about that or whether it's about a breakup. Or both, as we've learned, BTS lyrics can be about so many things.
So many things.
Yeah.
It's not about the soul.
No, it's not about the soul, but I think in this album, though, I think you could probably take the word soul out, the word youth in, and you'd be good. And then he says, we're cell phones, fallen will be broken. Your scent is what makes me complete. Come over and hug me. And yeah, love to. I thought the cell phones line was quite nice. You don't expect big metaphors about cell phones, but it's a good metaphor. It works. There's a Suga and JK pre-chorus where they say, I can't see anything but you. Now I can't live a day without you. And then Tae and Jimin come in on the chorus and they say, hold me tight. Can you trust me? Please just hug me. And then in the post-chorus, they say, you're still shining. You still smell like a flower. Now trust me. Hold me again. Again, I'm nothing without you. Open my closed heart. Drench it so I can feel you hold me.
Jeez.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah. And then you have Hobie's verse. And it's about how everything feels cold, even in the warm flower wind. And then he's crying and he's going crazy. I hate it all. If there's a chance, I'll catch you. I'll run. I'm ready to get hurt like thorns. I hug you again. So yeah, it sounds like he knows this isn't going to last, but you just want to hold on for a little bit longer. I also saw someone connected to the universe story of Hobie being abandoned by the mother as a child. And I think the opening line that he has, your arms, your warmth, your heart, I beg to see them again. That kind of sounds like.
Yeah, that fits with being left by your mother at the circus.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's another chorus, and then Suga comes in with a really faded bridge. He said in the behind the scenes that he did the bridge because he didn't have time to do a big verse because he was working on the intro.
Aww. I'm surprised you've not gone off about this bridge more.
I mean,
based on how you feel about RM's vocals.
Yeah,
I wrote this down. Youngest vocal. Beautiful.
Yeah. His part definitely is about a breakup. It's not about youth. He says, our breakup pulls towards me like the high tide. I know it'll soon be our last, but I can't let you go. Don't say it, don't go. Just hug me quietly, girl. And then they do the chorus again, and then they end on, now trust me, hold me again, so I can feel you hold me. That's it, really. Any thoughts?
Yeah, the only additional note I got is the Hobie vocal into the angry rap. So Hobie starts again on a vocal and then goes into an angry rap, which I thought was really beautiful. I thought Hobie did a good job.
Yeah.
There. So I looked at the line, and the line was, I'm going crazy, exhausted without you, which I thought was really beautiful. And
then there's some really good, before they do the final chorus, Jimin does a really powerful, hold me tight. He's sings beautiful. It really loud, really strong. And yeah, that's really good. I wrote again that it's about young love. It sort of reminded me of the, the really dramatic teen romance movies when they're like, oh my god, we're so in love, we're going to be together forever. Oh my god, but you need to go to Stanford and I need to go to NYU. And oh my god, how are we going to continue our relationship forever? They always like stay together at the end and be like, oh, we'll figure it out. And you're like, this is just
figure it out.
Dumb. Yeah. You're not going to last forever. You're 17. It's fine.
I put this in quite there's a moment or a period of time that occurs where you've agreed to break up. That's given. Too much hurt is in the past. You've agreed to break up. But there's always that one like last meeting where you exchange your stuff, or before they like leave the house and you know that they're never coming back. And that always seems to feel very, very like bittersweet and overly romantic. So you sort of fall back into this like love hysteria where you want to have that big last kiss, that big last hug. It hurts a lot more than it would previously because you're sort of having that last embrace and that last moment to cement everything that the relationship was. I really loved it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Sorry.
That's good. Right, should we talk about performances?
There's only one.
There's only one, yeah. We will, I don't remember if I can only find one or if I was like, oh, these are all the same. But it's a good one, though. They're on a platform.
On the platform.
Yeah, it's when they're touring Japan and Korea in 2015.
I really like the hair.
Yeah.
But it's like, so you've got Pink Mon and you've got Mint Yoongi, but there it's all a little bit faded.
It's the run hair.
It's after run, yeah. So that's when they're on top, after run. And it's just beautiful, except for JK, who's got the coconut.
I don't think the coconut on JK looks bad.
Sign of a true JK bias.
Bias eyes.
I can definitely say that on some people definitely looks awful. JK, I think he pulls it off.
They wear some really fancy blazers as well.
Yeah, the blazers are nice.
Yeah. You can really hear in this performance, I think, the vocals. Like, the vocals are so good in this.
Well, and that's how I noticed Toby's vocal.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Jimin's...
And imagine them on a platform up there, just there in the sky, just there.
Yeah. I think it also highlights how much they like harmonize with each other because you don't necessarily hear that on the album. But then you see them perform it, and then all of a sudden they're like doing like both of them holding the mics up to their mouths and blah blah blah. So yeah, I think that was interesting. V and Jimin gave some really strong vocal performances, candidates for best vocal.
Agreed.
Yeah, that was it really.
Yeah, overall liked it.
Yeah, you liked it.
I liked it a lot.
I liked it too. So yeah. Skit time. Shall we do the skit? Expectation! Exclamation mark. This was produced by P-Dog and Hitman Bang. They're talking about whether their album can reach number 1. Suga says it's good, but they don't want to get caught up in the expectations. And RM said, oh, I can't be satisfied by the album now. We have to get to number 1. And then they talk a bit back and forth about they're all afraid of expecting something and getting nothing, basically. But they all seem sort of on the verge of letting themselves be hopeful about how the album's going to do. But they're sort of being quite careful. And then JK all of a sudden goes in with the, can young people ask for tax deductions? And everyone's like, why are you asking? And Suga says, you can only apply for tax deductions when you make some money. And then he mumbles like, we don't make any money. That's sad. So yeah, and then JK explains that his father was speaking to him about it because he'd had the writing credits on the outro, which we'll get to. And
I like that JK's dad's just checking on his money.
Yeah.
Are you going to make any money yet, JK? And he's like, I wrote one. Yeah. I'm on one.
Yeah. I think it's one of those dad moments. I definitely have that from my dad when he's like, well, this is the smart thing to do with your money at this point in time. Yeah. I think you can see that this is around the time when they start being able to at least talk about a number 1, right? Like, they know that this is good.
Good for them.
Yeah. All right. Dope time, shall we? Do I want to say da? No. Okay.
Asawa.
I'm not going to do that.
Here's how dope sounds in my head.
Dope was written by RM, Suga J-Hope, P-Dog, Hitman Bang, Ear Attack, and produced by P-Dog. This one also starts off with RM, as everyone knows, I'm sure, and he goes, no, I'm not going to say it in Korean. No, he goes, welcome, first time with Bangtan. And he's got a big smile on his face. And then it cuts straight to JK, and he goes, ayo, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, I'll start. Different from the other guys, my style, my style. Oh, ayo.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a really strong opening, I think.
Yeah.
Jimin then follows up, I worked all night every day while you were out clubbing. I got a feeling I'm kind of dope.
Yeah, you are, Jimin. You are kind of dope.
Yeah. And then they do a little dance break, and then Hobie goes in, drenched in sweat in our practice room. Look, my great dance moves prove it all. The weak, loser, whiny idiots have nothing on him because he's full of hope.
Nice.
He says. I think this is why...
A little bit hatery.
Yeah, the song got banned from some radio stuff, I think, because of this line, the weak, loser, whiny idiots.
It's fair. Hobie always been controversial.
Exactly. Yoongi does his rap next, and he says, we're dope from head to toe. And he talks about how they're drowning in work. And then he says, even if our youth rots in the studio, thanks to that, we're closer to success. I wrote that his existential angst comes up again in this, because obviously they're sort of talking about, later in the song, they go like, we gotta make it, we gotta make it. I thought that youth rots in the studio is sort of significant in terms of the thing that we talked about at the top, where they've sort of not got any backup plans.
Mm-hmm.
They have to make it because they're working so hard, and if they don't make it, then they're wasting their youth in the studio. Yeah. And then he says, girls, shout it louder, make it ring, jara. And I thought obviously that was genius, because he incorporates the fan chant in the song.
Nice.
The fans get to be part of it, and that's really, really nice. Tay does the line about clubbing again. He does this low, growly vocal. Jin does a line about make some noise until your body burns up. And then JK comes in and he does the, because we got higher, I gotta make it. And then they say, ta-da, again. I don't know how to describe the hook bit. It's kind of like a trumpet, but I don't think it's a trumpet. It's the yeah, where they do most of the dancing. And then the chorus goes, I reject rejection. I'm always over the top. Everyone copies me. You all work for me. And then they go, ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. So dope.
I like I reject rejection.
Yeah, me too. My favorite bit of dope, of all of dope, really, is when I think it's at the end of the second part of the first chorus, and then the music sort of drops out every time they say "ta-da." It sort of came up in my head, and I was like, no, surely that doesn't happen in the song. And I had to go back and listen. I was like, oh my god,
oh, it does.
Yeah, it does. It's so great. And then Junie's rap happens, and he gets really political. So this one took a bit of research, but he starts up saying Sampo Sede, and then he says Oppo Sede. So Sam is 3 and O is 5. Sampo Sede is like the 3 giving up generation.
Okay.
And it was a term that they used to describe millennials in Korea who had given up on 3 main things of life, which were courtship, marriage, and childbirth. And then you have Oppo Sede, or the 5 giving up generation, where you also give up on employment and home ownership.
Jeez.
And this was popularized by a 2011 report that they did that found that the traditional family unit was disintegrating, and that young people were rejecting or delaying marriage and starting a family because of the costs associated with it. It's too expensive, yeah. Obviously, the young generation don't get as much out of working hard as the generation before. But because of this sort of realization that we were losing these family units, and then you had the older generation being like, oh, you should just work harder. Yeah. So you're lazy. You can't be bothered to like start a family, and you can't be bothered to support our economy in that way. And you can't be bothered to get a job and like all that sort of stuff.
And it's a really difficult, liberated choice, right? To say people taking that decision to just not do it. And I think it's a very modern thing to make that choice, whereas that wouldn't necessarily have existed. Like for my mum's generation, my parents' generation, they couldn't have said, oh, I'm not going to buy a house and have kids because I want to just pursue my career and do my own thing, because the world was a lot smaller. It wasn't as well connected.
Yeah. I think the song is about the financial aspect of it, but I think that's true as well. Like it's a harder thing for older generation to understand the sort of choice of being like, actually, no, I think it's too hard financially to have kids. I wouldn't be able to send them to a good school. I wouldn't be able to throw a nice wedding that I'd enjoy.
Because they could do all of that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it's something that they've had in Korea because of the sort of growth that they've had since the Korean War, I think it would have been. But we've had a lot of the same stuff in the economies that were like capitalized since World War II, I think, where they like had one massive generation that sort of had this massive economic prosperity, and everything was like
Better
getting
for them.
industrialized, and like there was loads of houses and loads of jobs and like all this sort of stuff that they could have, and then all of a sudden you have this new generation and there's nothing left for them
It's just
because
not available.
people are living longer, and so
And because it's in a capitalist economy,
yeah, exactly,
the money's already gone. That's where you get inherited wealth, right?
older people
You can't
have-
generate wealth in a way that you used to be able to as a boomer.
yeah, exactly. And also like older people, they might own 3 or 4 houses, like they might,
And they've got no
Yeah.
intention of selling those.
exactly. So inflation just keeps on rolling, which is fun. Yeah, I read according to a poll, the reason that South Korean people said that they weren't like making these choices was because there was not enough money to save anything. It's hard to get a job and personal debt. There's also concepts of giving up on 7, 8, and 9, where you give up on interpersonal relationships, hope, physical appearance, health,
Wow.
and then finally you give up on life. And
Jeez.
obviously we know, we've talked about it before, that they have like really high rates of mental problems and suicides and stuff. So I think that's what he's getting at. He goes on to say, I like the number 6, so how about giving up on 6? And apparently he says youthful, which apparently is a homonym for beef jerky.
Okay.
So he's sort of making a joke saying that he's the beef jerky given up generation.
Strong.
So I think he's making a point, like trying to make fun of the other takes of like, oh, you're giving up on 5, giving up on 6, like I'm gonna give up on beef jerky, like haha, sort of thing.
Like Eminem level rapping skills.
Yeah. He says the media and adults say we don't have willpower, condemning us like stocks. And apparently this has actually been a criticism where they're like, oh, the stock market isn't as prosperous anymore as like it was when we were young. So like that means that you guys aren't working hard enough. Because
Oh, Jesus.
yeah. And then he says, why are you killing us before we can even try? And Yoongi comes in and says, enemy, enemy, enemy.
Yeah.
And then
They do this whole back and forth where
Yeah.
Yoongi bends down, Aaron bends down and Yoongi jumps up.
Yeah. I heard that that's interesting because of the criticism coming up in a song about working hard. So he's like, you're killing us for working hard, but we're working so hard. And then he sort of starts speaking to young people in general, and he says, why are you hanging your head and accepting it already? Take my energy, energy, energy. Sort of suggesting that the criticism is sort of what's taking the willpower away from the younger generation, as in like you keep criticizing, but actually that's just not making it any better. And he says, don't ever give up. You know you're not lonely. Our dawn is prettier than the day. And
Nice.
yeah. So can I get a little bit of hope? And then everyone shouts, yeah. Wake your sleeping youth, go. It's a really, really beautiful verse.
This is really beautiful.
It's so good. I mean, yeah. Oh, it's so like inspirational but critical, and like
It's got all of the
I love it a
phrases in
lot. Yeah. And he's talking about himself, but he's also talking about young people, and he's talking about the group, but like the fans, and yeah.
And
So
then the
good.
political references.
Yeah, you're not lazy and aimless just because that's what they call you. And yeah, it's inspiring. It's comforting. I liked it. And it spoke to me, I felt. And then they go into the pre-chorus and chorus again, and then JK and Jimin do the bridge where they go, this is Bangtan style, different than those lying wax.
Every day is hustle life. I gotta make it fire, baby. And then they do the chorus again, but instead of saying the normal lyrics, they just say what and say whoa.
So that's all I had. It's a really fun song. It was actually my most played on Spotify in 2021, but like the lyrics are so good. So yeah, I've got newfound appreciation for Dope, which I already thought I appreciated a lot, but it's really good. I also put that it's a bit of an early love yourself theme, because
It's about
like,
following your own path.
Yeah, and also being like, I am valuable, I work really hard, and actually I think I'm dope. I'm dope. I'm good at what I do, and I don't deserve all this random criticism, basically. Junie's verse sort of makes it relatable to youth in general, not just to them as hardworking idols.
Dope was actually the first ever BTS song I ever heard.
The first time you heard it, did you watch the MV?
Yeah. The music video initially, the person that stood out was RM.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I think this is such a JK video. And I think
it's a Jimin video.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Jimin looks beautiful.
I think Jimin bosses the whole way through.
Yeah.
But
But Jungkook's
when
like,
we get to the MV.
yeah, well, I guess we can.
No, because I remember you'd had GOT7 and you met with that girl, and you were scrolling trying to find this.
I was trying to find GOT7's just right. And then, but like what she did is, we were sat on my bed and she was just like playing all these videos for me. And she's like, what about this group? Do you like this group? Do you like this group? Got Seven's one stood out because it was like very vibrant and bright. And then that one stood out just so, I think the song. And RM stood out and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Cheeky.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's between RM and Jungkook. I think Jimin's look is the best.
Jimin looks amazing.
He does, yeah. He really suits that red hair. And the behind the scenes he goes like, do you think anyone would hire me if I came to an office with this red hair? And I'm like, yeah, I will.
I think the thing that I wrote is the concept of I reject rejection, right? And I think it's a really powerful one, and one that like I think we all struggle with, and what rejection means. And I think the way that they represent it is like, oh, I don't accept this rejection, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
And I think that's really valuable in life, because often rejection can feel like the end of life as you know it. Like, oh, I didn't get the job, or this guy doesn't want to date me, or I didn't get the promotion, or I didn't manage to secure this thing that I want. Whereas actually the things that are meant to come your way will come your way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that exact thing for it to be right for you, but it's very difficult to not feel that way.
Yeah.
So I really liked that sort of that concept that was woven within it, which was all about like, if you continue to work, it will all come to fruition, and within that you're a bad bitch.
Yeah.
The whole like concept of just being dope and being able to tell yourself that you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't invalidate all of the work that you've done before, just because you didn't get that opportunity that you wanted. Like, all of that work can still be put towards something that's really valuable, and ultimately you are dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm behind it.
So you're talking about MV, because this is a really great MV.
Oh, this MV tortured me though because of the Asawa.
Oh.
Is this your first time? Yes, RM, it is my first time, and I wish this wasn't my first time.
Yeah.
But yes, let's talk about the MV, which is just glorious.
It's so good. It's so fun.
So glorious.
It's so good. My first point was like, every time Jungkook interacts with the camera, it's just the most magical thing. Like, he just loves it so much, and you can see in this one, he's so confident.
I think JK looks too young in the MV.
No, it's not about his look, that he does look so like confident, like when he does the fire higher thing, and he like points to the camera and he's like fire, and like
he's
getting his eyebrow,
like,
and he's like yes, his performance is just,
he's getting
right
his
there.
performance on.
Yeah. And Ginger Jimin.
Yeah,
and
so my lines were, can you even imagine working in an office with Jimin just reading papers and looking over his glasses and not bursting into flames?
No.
When he tosses the lanyards and the papers, I'm following him wherever he goes. And then he pulls the lanyard up over it, and then he tosses it, and then he does that in some of the performances, and I'm just like, Jesus effing Christ. And you know what? Jimin is the only one ever that I will accept in a tie.
Really?
Because he's wearing a tie in that MV, and he's wearing a tie in some of the performances, and it's the hottest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's really
it's
hot.
100%.
Oof.
Yeah.
And
in the dope MV, when he comes forward, he's a little bit angry. Nowhere near as angry as he was in the school era, but just angry enough that it feels like cute, fluffy, sexy.
It is, yeah.
And now you've got a bit of angry and swagger Jimin, and I'm like, take my children, take my firstborn. I will give you whatever.
Yeah. So the concept is that they're dressed as like real life jobs, really, and I think they're trying to say like, we work just as hard, if not harder, than people in these professions. So Jin is a doctor, a pediatrician, I think, because he makes all those silly faces and stuff. Hobie's a race car driver.
He looks super swag in that.
He does.
He almost doesn't look like himself.
Yeah. And then Junie's a hotel porter, which I thought was a bit of an odd choice. Not like a
pilot.
Traditionally hardworking. Well, like
you don't know that.
But like not one that you'd be like, oh my god, I've struggled all my life and I made it to hotel porter. I mean,
you know what you mean?
Yeah. Suga works as like a rescue service worker. He kind of looks like a Navy, but apparently it's actually like a rescue service that they have in Korea.
He's a really cute detective.
He says he's Conan Gray in the behind the scenes when he's got the glasses and he's got this like a suit, but he's got shorts.
But he's got shorts.
He looks so tiny. Like, he looks like he's 5 years old. He's very cute. Yeah, I did write, I want Jin to be my pediatrician, even though I'm an adult with no kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jin does a really good job in Dope as well, because they're all like quite like angry and swaggy, and then he's just full silly.
On brand, yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. And I really like the dance. The dance.
Oh, the choreo is amazing.
So good. It sort of manages to be powerful and cute and fun and sexy at the same time. And I'm like, I'm not sure exactly how they're doing it, but they're like jumping around, crossing their arms, and then the bit where they sort of do the like crossed arms and then they do the little like thrusty hip forward move. Yeah, it's fun. I also really enjoy the bit where they like stumble. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's cute. Any thoughts on the dance dash?
Not on the dance, but on the outfits.
Go on.
JK can arrest me.
He can arrest me.
He can, yeah.
He'll do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's too young in this to arrest me, actually. JK can get lost.
I do agree he looks a little young. He is 17.
He's too young.
Yeah, he's too young. But yes, he can arrest you because you're closer in age. So
I would stay in my boring office job if Jimmy was there. Every day.
Sure.
I would turn up and I would do the work.
You don't have to pay me.
I would do it for free.
Yeah, I will be there. It's fine.
For free.
I will pay you. It's okay. There's a cute reaction video of
there is where they're talking about how flaily Yoongi is.
Well, no.
Yes.
No.
That's what I wrote. Yoongi's flailing.
Yeah, Yoongi's blonde, and Jimin keeps saying the yellow-haired friend is all over the place. And then Hobie, bless his little heart, keeps being like, Junie and Jin have improved. And they're like, yeah, they have improved. And then he's like, yeah, they've improved, right? And Jimin's like, actually, I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure.
Jimin talks about how handsome JK is.
Oh, yeah, they do.
He talks about how handsome JK is, like, the whole way through.
Yeah, he does. And their performances, should we talk about those?
Yes.
I've linked
we did the dance prac.
Oh, yeah, the dance prac. The dance prac is cute. Yoongi's in shorts. It's great.
Is it?
Stop hating on. I've never been like, it's not great.
I think the problem with Yoongi in this dance prac is his chicken legs.
He doesn't have the most felt legs, but I don't care about that. I'm allowed to enjoy his shorts.
You can enjoy his shorts.
Yes.
Jimin in this dance prac also gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone in grey sweatpants in a dance prac, I just can't even.
Yeah.
I can't even cope.
See, I never thought about the grey sweatpants, but then I saw them on Jimin and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a thing.
And he's like, wearing the glasses as well.
Yeah.
He's got
the little office glasses on. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He knows.
You should always have that red hair.
And then I put JK just chilling in his jeans, and then they do the little head tilt, and I'm a bit lost. Yeah. Like, I get a bit dazed.
Yeah. Do you have thoughts on the dance prac?
No, just on JK's outfit and shoes.
Yeah, he's wearing the big brown shoes, isn't he? The Birkenstocks.
Timberlands.
Yeah. So performance-wise, I linked the Mnet comeback stage where the fans sort of stand around the stage.
When they're all office workers.
Yeah.
They are all in ties, and I didn't hate it.
Nice.
Maybe they just need to be tied.
Fine.
And then the music call on. Where they all change their jobs. I don't like that. I want them to stick with their original jobs.
Yeah.
Jimin's not even an office worker.
No, I know. He's like Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I initially thought it was like a take on what they
want to be because Hobie's the tennis player and Yoongi's a conductor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then some of the others are really random.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I didn't even write it down, but
Tae's not a saxophonist or a farmer.
Or a farmer. Yeah, I put Tae should be a farmer.
Tae's a doctor, not a saxophonist or a farmer.
And then June is a pilot.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And Jay's a mechanic. He is in his Timberlands.
Yeah. And Jin's some sort of captain, I think.
I think it's this one that Hobie changes the lyrics. I forgot. He says something, but he changes it to name his dogs.
Yeah. It's RM Sugar and Hobie's dog names. He puts in instead of the like where I said it was banned for like
right,
bad language.
Idiot.
Yeah, young money idiots. Yeah, so he changes it to like
the dog
names. Yeah, it's very sweet. Sugar said in his review that he really liked it. It was well received. It's a dope track, he said, even.
Very long.
Yay. He said he wrote his part really quickly in 10-15 minutes and it was approved right away, he said. He was talking about like the music shows that they do because they did quite a lot in this era, and he's like, oh, they're actually really tiring. Like, it's a really long day. Like, it's like draining physically and mentally. But he said, actually, for Dope, I really enjoyed it because it's such a fun song.
Okay.
And I think you can see it when he dances. He looks like he's having fun.
He is having a really good time when he dances.
Yeah, and he gets to be kind of at the front.
He is. He's at the side.
Yeah.
Could be in the dance line.
Exactly.
He's not. But I definitely, when we were watching some of the performances and the dance prep, I was like, they're definitely hiding Judy and Jim back there.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's too hard to keep up for them.
Yeah.
So you barely even see them. And I was like, look at Youngie on the side.
Yeah.
Flailing around.
I thought he did great.
He did a good job.
Yeah. Right. Boys with fun. Time to have some fun with the boys. Boys with
Fun.
Fun. Hyungtan, Sunny and Dan. This one was written by our Sugar, J-Hope, Jin, V, Jimin, P-Dog, Hitman Bang, and it was produced by Sugar and P-Dog.
Nice.
So, yeah,
good for them. Sugar producing.
Yeah.
He's a very expensive producer.
He is now.
Yeah, I'm glad that V was in it because V's part in Boys with Fun I just love it.
V is great in that, yes. So Hyungtan in Korean means fun, excited, and Bangtan means bulletproof. So they're sort of changing their name into the fun boys instead of the bulletproof boys. Sugar said, actually, I didn't know this, but Sugar said in his behind the scenes bit that this was like a fan nickname that they'd been given because they were like quite like easily distracted and silly behind the scenes and all that sort of stuff. So people had started calling them Hyungtan, Sunny and Dan instead of Bangtan, Sunny and Dan.
Aww,
yeah.
Hyungtan.
Yeah. It starts off with the group and they're sort of all chanting, and then rap lines sort of take it in turns saying, "We're here, the fun boys," and like fun. And then Sugar does the first verse. He talks about how they're fun until dawn. This is so fun. All the fakeness has gone home. And then calls for everyone to come dance, whether they're rhythm deaf or tone deaf. So everyone can dance regardless. So that's good for Aram and Jin. No, I'm just kidding.
I like how you made a bit of shade, laughed at it, and then looked.
Yeah.
I'm just open with my shade.
RM comes in with this little like, let's ride, go with me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then he talks about reaching the peak. You can't go to the peak by being normal.
Baby. That. And that's strong.
Yeah, agreed. And then Hobie comes in and says, fun, forget the engine. Fun, speed on fast. Then he's gonna go crazy today. And if you don't want to go crazy, then you can go home, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good one. Jimin does the pre-chorus. The moment the music flows, I think I'll go crazy. You're gonna be shaken by my body. And then the rest of the vocal line join in on the chorus. They say, I was always like this. I'm me from start to finish. Sing it. And then Viggo does his whoa, whoa. Yeah, that one. And then they go back to we're the boys with fun, the fun boys. And JK does, I don't even know myself. That's when he sounds so swaggy at the end. Second verse gets even more chaotic, I think.
Yeah. Because you've got it down as V's growl, but I think this is a tiny V rap.
Okay.
It is a V rap.
It's a growly rap though.
Yeah, but it's not a vocal.
Fine.
It's this next bit after that second verse is a V rap.
Yeah, fine.
Go on. What does he say?
My fatal body movement, my insanity is crazy. I want to do everything my way, so don't touch me. Sure. And then Jin comes in with, you can argue that Jin's rapping here. He is not as
there's less of it. It's smaller.
He says, I'm the oldest, though they play with me, and is answered with no. And then he says, oh well, who cares? I'm satisfied, okay? Yeah.
And then V's back.
Yeah.
He's joined the rap line. He's got some shit to say. It's going down.
Mm-hmm. And all he has to say is, yo, my name is
V. It's V.
It's V. Yeah. I set the tone for the competition. Yeah, it's really, really loud. He like shout. I think it's more of a shout than a rap. Yeah. And then Hobie comes in and says, hey, stop. And V says, I'm sorry.
And then Hobie picks up.
Yeah. Hobie has this line that doesn't make any sense to me, but it says, take your pick. Hoshik, take your pick. If hope is with us, we won't know time is passing. And I'm guessing Hoshik is like a cute version of...
Yeah, I think it is. I saw a translation that was choose.
Oh.
So it's like choose me instead of V. Because I've just got V out of the way. They choose me, V. I'm rap line, you're out. Get gone.
Maybe.
Because V had done the apology.
Yeah. That's true. And then there's a little weird singy bit where they say, let's wash ourselves with sweat. Chicka chaka cho. Today I'm it. Mini Mini Mo.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the Mini Mini Mo.
Yeah, me too. And then RM does another bit where he's warning people against taking nonsense and talking behind his back, and he goes, I'll bite you with my teeth.
Until you bleed, yeah.
Yeah, bleed dry.
Jeez.
Yeah. then there's a bit where he goes, "Did you eat?" And then he says Chinese "Chi fan lo ma," which also means "Have you eaten?" apparently.
Okay.
And in Korea, it's like a common greeting that you say to like friends and family, and to say like, to be like, "Oh, are you okay?" You'd be like, "Oh, have you eaten? Have you eaten well?" Apparently, that also exists in Chinese. It's apparently the same thing. I don't know why he says it in Korean and then Chinese, but. So then the bridge comes and they say, "All you fun people gather here. Any other fun people get behind me." And then they go straight back into the main chorus. They end on, "We're the fun boys, fun, fun. I don't even know myself." So yeah, it's a fun
I
song.
liked it.
Yeah.
I was really confused and disorientated the first time I watched it with the whole Hobie. We talk about performances in detail, but in one of them, like Hobie literally like picks him up and like moves him out of the way.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, that's fun.
Silly.
And I think he changes up his line for the performances.
He
There's
does.
one
He
where
says,
they're-
"It's me at it's me at like Music Bank.
Yeah.
It's me at Music Bank."
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably it's not like a super deep song.
No.
It's more about the like rhythm and the fun than the like lyrics and the meaning, I think.
I think it's designed for performance, right?
Yeah. It is about like being yourself and letting go and going crazy and letting your hair down and like youthful carelessness. I will try to relate it to youth.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's also another banned song from the album.
Oh really?
Yeah. It says it's banned because the pronunciation of some lyrics is similar to a chicken brand. Also, the Chinese phrase is banned because it's associated with swearing words.
Oh.
Maybe that's why he says it then.
Yeah.
And Yoongi said in his behind the scenes that he initially wrote the beat for Hobie because he thought it was like exciting, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I really thought Hobie could do something with this," but then it just didn't really happen. And then he went back to it when they started working on the album, he said, and then it was like, "Oh, this beat is fun. Let's do something with this." So yeah. Performances. Is there anything else we want to say about them?
Choreo is fun.
Yeah.
There's the Music Bank one where they're wearing the nice outfits and then it goes into "I Need You."
Oh, yeah,
that's
the blazers.
That's the "I Need You" of the shots.
Yeah.
Shots.
But the blazers for Boys of Fun are also really good.
Sugar and the Hat of the Love Jacket.
Yeah, he's the only one that's not in the blazer. But yeah, I really liked Jimin's blue blazer. He's got like a royal blue blazer, and then JK's got a red one. And those are my favorites of the blazers, if you were wondering.
Of the blazer. I'm often wondering what is Christine's favourite blazer. Jimin's blue one is great.
Nice as well.
Jin's one's nice. But I do think Sugar brings it with the leather jacket and the hat though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So you should, if you're going to watch one of the performances, this one's a good one because then it goes into "I Need You," where they're all in shorts, and Hobie is thriving in those shorts, as is Jimin.
Yeah, for sure. The outfits are really nice. Like they're some of the top "I Need You" outfits, I think. Yeah. And they do have the wet hair, which we're about, yes. And then they do it at this Japan concert that we also talked about before, and they don't do the choreo, but they like jump around, look great. And Jin versus
leopard print.
Leopard print cardigan, and I just think that looks great. I would wear that.
JK's wearing the Dennis the Menace cardigan, and I don't think it looks so great. Sorry, JK.
Oh, do you disagree?
I think I agree.
There's a bit in the Japan performance where someone's at the barrier.
Yeah, there is.
It's Jimin. He's taking his jacket off, and then he's going to go to the barrier.
Yeah.
Which is just, can you imagine?
Yeah.
There's also a bit where Jin sings into the army bomb, not into the mic.
I missed that.
Yeah. So he puts the army bomb up, sings into the army bomb, then has to put that down and sing into the mic.
That's cute. And there is a very cute soap dancing moment I put as well.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm a fan of the Japan.
Yeah, me too. And then
you liked the recent one, the Bang Con. Bang Bang Con.
Bang Bang Con, yeah, from 2020. And
where they're rocking the florals.
Yeah, it's cute and happy.
And when Hobie picks up B to move in, I'm dead. I want Hobie's hoodie, but I also want to be able to pull it off, which I doubt I can.
Oh.
I really enjoyed when it came on at the BTS night.
Nice.
Yeah, me too.
It were a good one that everyone was like, "Oh!" And then you all just like, don't know the dance, but you all just join in to mess around like they do when they perform.
Yeah, it's definitely one that you can like shout and dance along to, go a bit crazy. Yeah,
it's a good fun one.
Yeah, for sure. Right, Converse high. Should we get our Converse out?
Yeah,
for the lads.
Jesus,
do we own any Converse?
I own some Converse. They're not high tops though.
Yeah, me too. I own silver
I've got some
ones.
flat ones.
Red
And not
ones.
the red high tops that Aaron wants.
I've got a blue pair that I wear not very often because they hurt my little toe. People with wide feet, just not meant for shoes in general.
The Converse High song is written by RM, Sugar, J-Hope, P-Dog, Slow Rabbit, and then it was produced by P-Dog and Slow Rabbit together.
We feel like Converse High is very similar to Coffee in that they were just given a topic.
Well, actually,
told to write a song about it.
Actually, Sugar says in the behind the scenes that it was RM's song that he'd written about his love for girls in Converse.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then they all came in onto
And
it.
then they had to all write a song each.
Oh,
Like,
to write a
verse
verse
each,
about
about
how they
Converse.
felt about Converse.
Yeah, and he said, like, to be clear, I don't actually hate Converse. I think they're fine. But, like, I just wanted to write something that was different than RM and Hobie's verses.
So Junie already had a song about how hot girls in Converse were.
Yes, yeah.
From pre-BTS days.
Like, maybe trainee days.
Or
I'm
maybe
guessing.
trainee days.
Yeah.
That makes Converse High feel a bit better.
It does, yeah. Anyway, my first note on this was I lucky thought that this was a song about a high school where everyone wore Converse. Because they keep going Converse High, and I'm saying, yeah, this is the Converse High
Oh,
song.
right, as in like the high school where
We're all
everyone
going to Converse
wears
High.
where everyone wears Converse.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, what's the high school called in High School Musical?
East High.
East High. Right, got it.
Yeah. It's definitely about high tops, not about Converse High.
Not about a school
No.
where everyone wears Converse.
No. So, yeah, it starts off with RM, and he says, if I had just one day, I'd go see the person who made Converse Highs, because that person saved the world.
Wow.
And then he goes in with F the name brands, Chanel and Alexander McQueen is how he says it.
He was going to start his own label.
Yeah.
And all the clothes are black.
Maybe that's for him, though. And then the
Right.
girl can wear red Converse, and he
Yeah.
can wear all black.
They come out and
Yeah,
they'll be
yeah.
so hot together.
And yeah, he says, you know what I want? White t-shirt, jeans, and red Converse highs. That's it.
Nice.
That is the perfect
Simple
outfit,
man.
according
Simple
to RM. And then Hobie doesn't care what color. He keeps it on brand, obviously. He wants the rainbow on your feet.
Mm.
Yeah. But he also says, together with your body makes me go hook hook. I guess that's a good thing. And nines, I don't know. Rather than the stars in the sky, I want to see the stars on your shoes.
Oh, nice.
Haha, without Namjoon knowing. So,
Hobie's trying to woo the girl in the Converse High
yeah.
that RM wants.
Yeah, and then when they perform it, he goes like, haha, and he looks at RM, and then RM goes like, yeah, I heard that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Can you imagine living in a world where you're being chased by both RM and Hobie?
That sounds great.
Just
yeah.
one is enough. Never mind both.
Yeah. So then the pre-chorus is from Tae and Jimin, and it's about the color of love. I've already been colored by you, but I still wear Converse lows. And then the chorus comes in where they say they can't help liking the Converse highs again, and I really, really like you. Converse, I really like you.
Converse,
I really, really want you. And then Suga hates Converse.
Yeah, straight up.
But he also thinks it's a lie when you look all flashy with your black stockings and your high heels, and he prefers Jordan numbers. So he's all about the Jordan sneakers.
The Jordan Airs.
Yeah.
Air Jordans.
Air Jordans, yeah. Those are better than Converse. And then he says, don't you know, Converse kill your charms. If you meet me, don't wear Converse. It's too hard to take them off.
Youngie.
I know.
Hell.
Yeah. And oh my god, my head exploded. I'm gonna have to, I need to go outside.
Just take a minute.
Take a minute, yeah. It's a good point though. The Converse are hard to take off.
Especially the high tops.
Especially
The low
high
tops
yeah.
you can slip off,
You
but
can
the high
slip off,
tops,
yeah.
no.
And then they
so they're too hard to
do-
take off, and you had to take a break.
And then the chorus, and then the outro again with the Converse high. I really, really like ya. And then Namjoon shouts Converse high at the end.
He just loves them.
Yeah, he really loves them.
I've got a bit more time for Converse High, knowing that baby Junie just wrote it on
Yeah.
himself, and then it became a thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's cute. And then we know it got banned from being broadcast on TV. Was it because of the brand partnerships? Was it because of Junie's F-bomb? Or was it because of Sugar Sexy Talk?
It wasn't because of
it
Sugar
was-
Sexy Talk.
It was the brand partnerships.
It wasn't because of Sugar Sexy Talk.
Yeah.
Maybe it is Julie's F-bomb.
Maybe. No, it's the brand names. I think I read that somewhere. They did perform it at one point on Mnet, and they had to change it to Lover's High.
Lover's High, yeah.
Yeah.
Which then makes even less sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. Like when he says, lovers, I really hate lovers. That's I don't know what you're saying. Oh, and yeah, Junie's lyrics, when he says the name brands, he says F you women and F you men, F you everything.
Jeez.
Which also is quite different. There's a little bit of choreo, and yeah, they like point to their shoes a lot, but they're not in Converse, which I guess again is the like brand partnership thing. But like we couldn't promote Converse on Mnet. They've got very strict rules.
Silly.
Yeah. They also performed it in Japan.
With the shoes dancing in the background.
It took me 15 watches to see this, but it's only Jin, Junie, and Hobie. It's like a little unit performance.
I mean, you're just distracted by the dancers.
No, honestly, it is because they cut Sugar's part and Jin does all the singing.
I put the turn-up jeans on Junie, are beautiful, and the suspenders on Hobie with a choker. Honourable mention. Not noticing that none of the other boys were there.
No, I didn't.
The ones that were there, I noticed.
Yeah, but it was because I was looking for like, oh, what was so and so wearing? What was so and so wearing?
What was Yoongi wearing?
Well, yes.
Where's Yoongi?
And Jimin. Right. Tash, any thoughts on Converse High?
It's really catchy. I think it's just a general good, happy song.
Agreed. Good.
It's a happy one.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to moving on.
Let's move on to moving on.
Yay.
Hilarious.
It's
You've been waiting.
It's a good segment.
It is better than Let's Go to Go.
It's moving on. It's better. Right. So moving on was written by RM, Sugar, and J-Hope and P-Dog, and it was produced by P-Dog. And this is about them moving out of their first house in Nonhyun-dong, which is the same one that they talk about in Run BTS.
The blue house.
Yeah. This was just a little bit of a note about the process, but I cried so much researching this.
It's hard.
It was hard. It was so hard. It might have moved me anyway. But obviously, with where we are at the moment, it just
after the
hits
dinner
differently. Yeah. Anyway, RM starts this one off as well, and his first words are "Ayo Sugar." Yeah, very iconic opening. And he says, "I remember how we came here 3 years ago when you and I used to fight all the time," and that's when I started crying.
It's like the first line.
I know.
They're not fighting anymore now.
Yeah, they don't fight anymore.
They
It's
don't.
okay. He talks about the wallpaper, bathroom, and veranda were all blue. Back then, I thought this was a big place, but my ambition grew too big. When the 9 trainees shared a 17 Pyong house.
What is this? 9?
It's like they had certain like different trainees living in the house. Yoongi talked about it in his behind the scenes that they at one point were like 13 people or something like.
Jesus.
But yeah, so it's just the different people that they had as trainees at the time.
Right.
Anyway, they shared this 17 Pyong house. Pyong is a measuring unit, so the house that they would have been in would have been around 56 square meters or 605 square feet. He talks about, we were always hoarse from an uncertain future and worries, seeing all the senior artists at the end of the year awards. Let's not forget those things, but put them away, which is a very Junie line, I felt.
Yeah, very sweet.
This place smells like us. Let's not forget the scent wherever we are. We cried a lot and laughed a lot, but it was so beautiful.
Oh, Jesus.
Nonhyun-dong, 3rd floor, thank you. Oh my gosh,
Christ.
this is when I start crying again. That line is just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
And then they go into the chorus, and Tae sings the first one beautifully. And it goes, let's move, goodbye to this place that we grew attached to. Let's move now to a higher place. Oh my God, again. They're moving on to, I wrote, they're moving on to better things, but it's still sad. He says, while taking the last box out of the empty room, I looked back for a moment. Times we cried and laughed. Goodbye now.
Jesus. At least this isn't yet to come. Like, the yet to come lyrics are hard.
Yeah.
They're a hard day, but they're not as bad as these.
Right.
But also reassuring that they write goodbye songs all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Hobie's verse comes next, and he says, 3 years felt so short, but so long. There were many memories. And then he talks about finding bank accounts and credit cards as they're about to leave, which I was a little confused by, but I'm guessing it's like, I don't know, I have all of my bank stuff in like a drawer.
In
like,
one box, yeah.
I never go into. And then when you move, I guess you pick that stuff out. As much as the place was small, we were bound together tighter, fight right here, hitting each other sometimes. There's more stuff in the beginning. I have more than when I started to. Now let's take our pride and go towards a bigger world with a bigger dream, a new start, a new beginning. Excited to see how it will become.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And then he talks about finishing moving boxes and wiping the dust. And after he wants to get some jajangmyeon, which is this black bean noodle dish, which is really, really nice. And yeah, apparently I read in this Korean girl's interpretation of the lyrics, she said that it's quite common to eat well when you're moving because it's like a takeout food, basically.
Aww.
And then Sugar's verse comes and it has a bit more of a personal tone. In the behind the scenes, he talked about wanting to reflect both sort of moving locations, as in moving out of a house, and how his life has changed as a result of moving, and also like moving on as like a person.
Okay.
Yeah, so he
growing.
Yeah, exactly. He says, ever since I was in my mother's womb, I counted the days for my first move. I remember why I had to move, the machine in my mom's heart and the big scar.
Oh.
So he talked about this again in the behind the scenes, and he said about when he was in his mother's womb, that was sort of his first house, and then he thought the feeling of moving would be from going there into the world, and then he talked about how his mom got very sick after she sort of gave birth to him, and then had to have surgery, and he had to go live with his grandparents for quite a while. He talks about this line being about the respect and adoration he has for his mother.
No.
And he's sort of filled with his love for her. Very,
sweet boy.
Very lovely. And then he talks about his move from Daegu to Seoul. So he says, in the winter of 2010 in Daegu, a naive and childish me would measure the size of the world. The cost of my moving into a house called Commercial was people pointing fingers at me saying that I was following money. So the Commercial house is the trainee house because apparently that it just means a house owned by a business. And the people saying he was following the money was the people he worked with in the music scene in Daegu and who thought he was selling out by becoming an idol, basically. So, and he talked a little bit about sort of how he moved from being like Minungi, his mom's son, to Minungi, the high schooler, and then being Sugar, the idol, who was a trainee in Seoul, which I guess kind of leads us into the persona bits where they come up later.
It does only come up later.
Yeah, exactly. Next, he says, moving left many things with me. Whether I liked it or not, it changed a lot in my life. My life was about paying monthly rent. I struggled, lived with my pride, put into the down payment. I read a few different translations on this because I wasn't really sure what he was talking about. But yeah, I don't know if he's sort of talking about his decision to move to Seoul being like financially motivated, as in like he wanted to pursue the route that maybe would make him the most money doing music because of everyone saying, oh, you're not going to make it, your family's going to go bankrupt, blah, blah, blah. I don't know whether he also had to sort of support his family in some way because he was obviously of the working age. He talked about his delivery job while he was a trainee.
That's how he hurt his shoulder.
I presume that they weren't paying rent at the company house, although I don't know that.
Isn't training really expensive?
Yeah, well, I think what usually happens is that you like get trained and then you pay back a loan.
Okay. So just take it.
Yeah, but you can go into debt as a trainee. But I don't know whether you also pay for your accommodation while you're doing it.
Maybe it all gets wrapped up into one package. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, if you do know, please write in. He has talked about how he worked in Daegu as well before he moved to Seoul. He worked like making money as a producer. I think he also talked about giving lessons in like rapping and music producing and stuff like that. When he was a trainee, he obviously did the delivery job, well, like we said, and he worked in secret, so he couldn't tell the company, which I guess maybe alludes to the fact that he was maybe giving the money to someone else. Because if he was doing it to pay the rent, then maybe he would have told the company. And maybe the pride bit is about how the decision to move to Seoul actually sort of was a bit financially motivated. But I don't know.
Because he would have somewhere to live for free.
Yeah, and he would pursue the route music-wise that potentially, like, if he made it, would make him the most money. I don't know.
Well, it all worked out.
It worked out, yes. Luckily it did.
He's a millionaire.
He is, yeah. Money many times over. So next he says, so I'm going to move again. I'm going to have a dream, a level higher than being an idol. And I thought that sort of reminded me of the Dionysus lyrics when he says, born as a K-pop idol, reborn as an artist. So he wants to sort of transcend those boundaries of K-pop idolness. And then he says, when will I stop having to move again? I hope it comes quickly. Which, Oh. In my research, I said he's reflecting on the sentiments of moving and the sad parts of his life that have led him to having to move. So his mother's illness and the financial struggles. But he sort of seems to also allude to the pressure and like stress of always aiming higher and like restlessness of ambition.
A bit like in Outro Her.
Yeah, like he wants to get to a place where he feels settled and like he's achieved what he's wanted and he hopes to get there quickly. But has he got there yet? I don't know.
Yeah,
he's probably got.
He has. He's got to the place where he wanted to be when he wrote these lyrics.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But
obviously the goalpost keeps changing, right? The ambitions keep changing. The things that you want keep changing.
Yeah. So Jimin and Jungkook come in and sing the 2 last choruses, so they do the chorus twice at the end. And this song has some great vocals. I love them so much.
Really beautiful
They're just
vocal.
like soft and breathy and like lovely.
Jimin's Goodbye Now vocal I noted is just really beautiful.
Yeah, Taeyeon in the beginning, beautiful as well. And yeah, RM then does the outro in English, which goes, everyone's afraid of changes, staying, moving on. We keep repeating the same things again and again. I guess that's life, I'm afraid. Old or new, new or old. That isn't really important. What's important is that we still breathe and live in the same place. So let's move on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I think you can tell. I love this song.
You like it, yeah, you love it. I really like it. I've got a lot of time for it. Tash?
I absolutely love it so much.
Nice, go on. So what, one of your favourites?
Top 7. Like Christine said, when she listened to it made her cry. I think when I first listened to it ages ago, it probably made me cry.
Aww.
For some reason, I remember listening to it in Bath, crying.
She's in a bath of her own tears.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I do really like it. I don't know if I like it as much as you girls do.
I definitely didn't have the same relationship with it until I read the lyrics. Like I always thought it was like a nice song, but then I read the lyrics, I was like, oh my god.
I don't know. Maybe it's just even on my reading of the lyrics, I still think "Hold Me Tight" has better lyrics. So I'd really like connect with this, whereas this is just about moving. To be fair, I hate moving.
Don't you think like when you move, don't you have that time?
It
when
is
you sort
really
of pack up
sentimental.
stuff and,
Yeah. I try and put it off.
Yeah, but it's like stressful but sentimental. But then I think I can just like picture if you live in that close quarters with all these people.
It's almost like leaving uni, right?
Yeah, and you've like stressed so much and been like, oh my god, are we going to make it? Are we going to debut? All this sort of stuff. And you've had all that adversity and lived in this like one room with 7 guys that you maybe wouldn't have been friends with otherwise. But now they're like your family. Well, Sugar said in the behind the scenes, he was like, oh, we were about to move. So we were like, oh, let's talk about moving. This is how basic we are.
Let's write about coffee.
Like, and he was like, can you see how basic we are? Like, we just talk about what's happening. Happening. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just thought it was like a really beautiful reflection on this period of their life when they worked really hard and they had all this uncertainty and all this like adversity, but they also achieved so much and like they would.
No, but they did. But when they were moving on, they hadn't.
Oh, but they had achieved stuff. Like
they'd achieved something. They debuted
like,
and they'd had school. Yeah,
and stuff. They'd achieved more than like.
Whereas I think if they'd written it after I Need You and the success of I Need You, then I get more sentimentality from it. But by now they're not that successful.
Yeah, but like they're like on the brink of success. I think that's what the skit tells you.
Yes.
Like if you're a K-pop band and you don't ever win a music show and you don't ever get a song on the number 1 on the singles chart, like you can still be successful.
You still be successful, yeah.
Yeah. You still have your fans and you still like you can do a concert.
And you still got your letters.
Yeah, and you can still do a concert for like I think people who play the O2, that's like 10, 20,000 people, right? So
and
like,
for a lot of people that's the pinnacle of their career.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Maybe they've got to a point where they not have to just for them first year or so, they weren't getting paid by a company being like, oh yeah, this is your wage because they were paying it back to company. So then this might be a time where they've actually been like, oh, we actually got like a couple of quid this week.
Yeah.
Well, that's what JK said, right, about his taxes.
Yeah. But then Sugar keeps going like, we don't get paid. Anyway, yeah, Sugar talks about in his behind the scenes that it has a lot of his favorite lyrics from the album.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Performances?
Yeah, performance-wise, there is a performance from Japan. I think that's the only one that we found, except for at 2021 muster, they performed it as well.
So the Japan performance is where Sugar's in the blue shirt.
Yeah.
That's my best Sugar look.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. You can see how they sort of harmonize with each other on the rap verses. So like at the end of Sugar's verse, where JK joins him to sing the like last two lines, where he talks about like how he hopes the last move comes soon, and Junie sings the Fight Right Here with Hobie.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then Junie hugs Sugar at the start, and he looks like he cries at the end.
Junie?
Yeah, he does.
Mm.
Yeah, I was so jealous of everyone at that concert.
Yeah, in
It was
2015.
really beautiful. Yeah.
Is that the one where Chum Chum goes up to the barrier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was jealous of that.
Yeah. I was just jealous of like, it seemed like such like a special moment. I don't know. I just thought it was really nice. There was a top comment on the YouTube video that I thought was really nice, and I've amended it slightly, but it says, "Please never take down this video. It's beautiful and it has so many memories behind it. This song is worth keeping in our thoughts and our hearts going forward. Let's love them, their identity and their values, and cherish every moment we have with them before they become memories that our kids and grandkids will hear from us. Let's be and stay armies forever, no matter what." And she wrote that 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Before they'd even gone.
And I was like, oh, that's so relevant, but it's like so beautiful and nice.
I really liked it. It's a very good performance. It's a very sentimental one, isn't it? It really shows that emotion. And as I said, Sugar looks great. JK's Dennis the Menace cardigan I can live without.
Fair enough.
He's not got the Dennis the Menace cardigan on.
Has he not?
He's wearing like a speckly grey top.
Oh.
That does sound better.
He looks great in that. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, and then they performed at 2021 Master, and they sort of sit in the chairs while they do it, and they have their yellow butter outfits on.
Yeah,
and
Junie's got the yellow mullet.
Yeah, he does. And then when Yoongi does his verse, B sort of mouths it along with him.
Oh,
a little bit of it. He's like,
B wanted to be in the rap line.
Yeah. Junie changes his English bit at the end to be about moving on from the pandemic. He says, "Moving on from this pandemic shit, what will we get? And what did we get? We don't know, but one thing's for sure. We will just move on."
Sweet.
Nice. Anything anyone else wants to say about Master? Nice. Shall we
move on?
Conclude? Oh, wow. I missed that one. Terrible.
Come on, all the time.
Wow, yeah. Outro, Love Is Not Over, is the last song of the album. It's a short version of one that we get on the Young Forever album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that one's written by Jungkook, Jin, Slow Rabbit, and P-Dog. So, yeah, that's when Jungkook gets his writing credit.
That's why he's worried about his taxes.
Yeah.
He wants the tax return on it.
Exactly. And he helped produce it. So it's produced by Jungkook and Slow Rabbit as well.
Nice.
Anyway, they go back to the desperate love of I Need You and Hold Me Tight here, I think. JK starts it off and he says that long night seems to be only flowing as it follows you. And V comes in and says, this time seems to be fading as it follows you.
Then Jin goes, I can't go on if you're not here. Let me come back to my arms. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
This one sort of summed up how I feel about the Festa dinner. Love is so painful.
Yeah.
Goodbyes are even more painful.
The last line is, without you, I don't think I can be. Love me, come back into your arms. And then they repeat that section. And then they do the, love is not over.
It's really great.
Yeah, it picks up the themes of the album quite well, I think. It seems to be about time fading, youth fading away. And hopefully, I wrote, love is not over. So...
Is it love is not over as in love still exists outside of that relationship?
Maybe.
I think that would be how you'd close it, right? Like you can still love someone and have loved someone and love again.
Yeah.
After a relationship. And well, they're not there yet. They're not in love yourself yet, but they're on a like, even though we've broken up, I can still love you, but not be in love with you ultimately, and look back on that relationship fondly.
Yeah.
And love still exists as a thing that I can access.
Yeah.
I can meet someone new.
I saw it more as from the youth angle, where they're saying the most beautiful moment in life is not over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because there's more albums.
There's more albums, yeah, exactly. Inge talked about in his review that he gave Jungkook a lot of advice when he was writing it. He was really proud of him. He was like, our Jungkook has talent for this. And he talks about how it was meaningful that they all got to participate. That was part of them getting to the next level. He actually said that. And yeah, they enjoyed the process and enjoyed creating the music, and obviously they get more involved later. So
nice, good for them.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone else? Anything about the outro?
I really like it.
I really like it.
It's a nice way to end the album. Somewhat sad and vocally, if that makes sense. But yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing the full version.
Yeah, I like the full version as well. But yeah, we couldn't find a performance of the short version. That's why we watched the long version. It was nice.
It was nice. They've got some wet hair going off. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
JK's got the wet hair and they're all in the white.
Yeah. I really do like the wet hair. The wet hair is,
It's a good day.
They can come back with that if they want. If they feel like they should.
They'll come back. The wet hair come back.
Yeah. 2 years time, that's what we're getting.
Brace yourselves. Then there'll be a whole song about wet hair.
Yeah.
Like there's one about coffee.
I look so sexy with wet hair.
And then Sugar's verse will be all, I hate wet hair.
Oh my gosh.
We've digressed.
Yeah. Okay. Is it awards time?
Yes.
Woohoo!
Awards time.
Awards time. Yeah. Okay. Best lyric to start us off.
Tash, go first.
It might be a bit more than a lyric. It's the ending part to Moving On, the English bit by RM.
Oh, yeah.
It is a really good one.
It's so good, yeah. Mine is also from Moving On, Junie's verse. And it's This place smells like us. Let's not forget this scent wherever we are. We cried a lot and laughed a lot, but it was so beautiful. None him dong, third floor, thank you.
Oh, that is really beautiful.
Oh my god, I could not stop crying. Leanne, what was your best lyric?
So I've got 2.
Okay.
But one's not really a lyric.
Right.
It's like a concept, and we sort of talked about it earlier. The dope, I reject rejection.
Yeah.
I feel like I could like put that on like a canvas
Yeah.
and like put it on my wall, or like maybe I want it as like my background, like my background, like a mantra. As I go through life, I need to be reminded to reject rejection.
Yeah.
So that one was close, but actually I think my favourite lyric was Why do I need you when it hurts me so bad? Which is from I Need You. I feel like it's just like where I was at. So that's what I've gone with.
Okay.
Next.
Nice. Best rap? Do you want to go first?
Yes. These rapping boy were fun.
Yeah.
Gotta be. Best rap going to be.
Oh, he'd be so proud.
He would be so proud.
Yeah.
Just because it was so unexpected when I listened to it.
Yeah.
And then when I watched the performance, I was like, is that like 2 lines of rapping from B? And then when they had the whole tussle between like him and Hobie, and Hobie's like moving him out of the way. And then the fact that he changes it for the different like stages and different shows. I love it. I've got, best rap, V. Got it. Giving it. Tae Young, it's yours.
Well done. Well done, V. If RM can win best vocal, we can win best rap. Yeah, we don't stick in boxes here. Tash?
My best rap is in Dope, where Sugar goes enemy, 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 along with RM.
That is a good one.
It's very swaggy.
Yeah, mine is also, I just put Junie's rap in Dope.
You really like that.
I really like that, yeah. I really wanted to give it to all 3 verses of Moving On. Also, I just couldn't separate them. I couldn't be like, no, it was RM's verse, it was Sugar's verse, it was Hobie's verse. I just thought they were all like equally beautiful. So then I was like, you know what? Junie's rap and Dope deserves the bench. Like I said when we covered it, it was political and inspiring and
Genius boy stuff.
Critical and inspiring both for them and for the fans, I think. Well done, Junie.
Well done.
Best vocal? I can go first on this one. My best vocal is Jimin's bridge and final chorus of Hold Me Tight, where he does the like big, strong vocal and then the really massive high notes that I really like with the falsetto, and that he belts for a bit and then he does this big falsetto high note thing and then he sings the last chorus, and it's joyous.
It is really beautiful.
Really good. And I think you can see that he's come such a long way as a singer.
From the school era.
From the school era.
Yeah, he can hit the notes now.
Yeah. And like he's always been a high registry singer, I think, but there's a difference between the high note in No More Dream and like this.
There is a difference, yes. There is a difference.
Even though the high note No More Dream high note also is good, but it's not this.
I went Jimin as well, and I was close to giving it to Jimin in Hold Me Tight because I've got a lot of time for Hold Me Tight. But I give it to Jimin in the outro, Love Is Not Over, because the start of Jimin's vocal there is in English, and it says, tell me why. And he just said, tell me why, and then he carries on the vocal in Korean. It's just really beautiful. Yeah, I really like it. I really like Jimin throughout. He's a brilliant vocalist. Natasha?
I went with Jungkook in outro Love Is Not Over, he's like finishing his sentence and it's like very breathy.
Yeah.
That is nice.
I'll say again though that I also thought all of the choruses in Moving On.
You can't just keep shouting out.
you shouted out too.
I did.
Sorry, stop making bro. So best dance break. What do we like?
I went End of Dope.
Same.
End of Dope. Like that choreo that I want you to teach me when they do the arm and then they do the twist and then they do the hand. So it's not like a dance break, but like they're dancing for a couple of seconds and it just like really like hits. I really like that.
Yeah. Well, you said the same, Tash, didn't you?
Yeah, I went with Dope, but I think it's like middle-ish bit.
Oh.
Where they're doing like the hip thrusty bit.
It's a good day.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
I put the chorus of Dope, which I guess also incorporates the end bit because that is like a chorus, even though they don't sing the same words. The bit where they dance in Dope, that's good. I think it shines in the dance practice, but also in the music video. Yeah. Live performance?
Mine is the second bit of the performance of Boys With Fun when they go into I Need You when all the boys are in the shorts.
With the wet hair.
With the wet hair.
Yeah.
Wet hair and shorts. And in that, B does that really angry hip thrust. And I'm always a bit like, nice.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, even because they're all in shorts, can't really see Junie's shorts as well as I would previously. Hobie and Jimin take the short prizes. They win the Fire Awards.
Yeah.
That's what I went with.
I also put the Music Bank, but I put Music Bank where they did Boys With Fun on ID.
Same thing.
Because they look beautiful in both, but like in
you want to take the whole
ways.
thing?
I don't know. I couldn't separate. But yeah, okay. Well, you already chose any, so maybe I'll choose Boys With Fun then.
Okay.
It's fun.
It is fun.
I like a fun performance.
And then you can see the Hobie tussle.
Yeah, and Yuga has his leather jacket on.
Which he looks good in.
Yeah, he does.
Mine is I don't know, I can't remember which one, but it's Dope. The one where Hobie's got the tennis racket.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
I almost picked
I hate that one because they're wearing the wrong outfits. It's a really
Hobie's
good
great in it.
It's a really good one. Hobie's very good in it.
Yeah.
So happy and vibey, and it's just good.
I almost picked the one where they're all office workers.
Yeah, when they're all office workers.
Yeah. That was up there for me. Right, best look. I can go first. It's Jimin and the Dope and me.
Of course it's Jimin and Dope and me. That's where mine's going as well.
Yeah.
Mine's same as yours too.
You went Jimin and Dope as well. I can't get over it. Like I talked about it enough at the top. Like about all of my feelings about if I worked in an office with Jimin.
Yeah, I went back and forth, and then I watched the Dope and me again. And I was like, no, it's this.
He is the hottest thing alive.
He is.
Great.
Right.
Jimin sweeping best luck. Good day.
Exactly.
Well done, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yes. Nice. Okay.
Skip.
It's skip time. And this is a tough one, I think. What have we chosen?
I picked intro. Sorry, Sugar, but it's just not for me. When it comes on and it's all breathing, I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I don't like it.
I can't believe this. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's not your genre. Whatever.
Shall I hit you with mine? Which is the same.
Fine.
I was going to let you go and do your skip and then come back, but we'll hit you. Yeah. I don't need angry rapping. I don't mind the heavy breathing, and I really like the animation that goes with it. But for me, because I Need You starts with that's when the album starts.
No.
Whereas it's some of the other intros,
like
some of the other intros start the album.
The other intros are just our so.
No, there's Jimin's one.
Oh, yeah, same.
See?
Yeah, fine.
Get lost. She also agreed. Sorry, Shugs, your intro, I'm skipping it. This album for me starts on I Need You.
No, that's just incorrect. I'm sorry.
Okay, what are you skipping instead?
Converse High. Converse High.
You can't skip Converse High.
Yeah, no, I don't need it.
Yeah. Is it just because Sugar hates Converse?
No. I don't know. I think
it's dumb.
It's a strong album, but it was the least meaningful for me, I think.
It's because I can't skip the intro.
No.
You wouldn't want to.
I would never skip an intro.
an intro?
No,
Or
I would
you
never
mean-
skip this intro.
Right, yes, fine.
Never in a million years. No, but I'm moved by that intro.
It's not that, it's like, it's good.
Like-
it's also not Summer Sugar's best work.
No, it's like his first best work. He worked so hard and you're just skipping out hard.
It's just a basketball reference.
Wow.
She's gonna hit me.
That basketball
Fine.
reference was the most genius thing anyone's ever done. Okay, I will not hear different.
Fine.
Right,
Sorry,
okay, let's not
sharks.
start fighting.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on.
There you go, yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. Right, best track. What have you chosen?
Natasha.
Moving on.
Ah, nice. Nice.
Yeah. Me too. I chose moving
No,
on. Yeah.
that's fine.
I chose moving on. I was going to give it to Dope for
Oh,
all
really?
of my research, and then
Mm.
all of a sudden I was so moved by moving on. It was so.
I thought you were going to give it to Dope.
Yeah.
Dope is
So I
very good.
really love Dope, and I probably might play Dope more.
Yeah,
but I
I'd say
think-
Dope fits in more places.
But yeah, moving on to a better, more moving song, and it has better lyrics.
Mm.
Although I also really love the Dope lyrics, so
Mm.
no shade to Dope, but it's moving on.
Mm. No, I was between Dope and I Need You because I always like the happy wherever you are bouncing around. But I give it to I Need You.
See, I don't think I Need You is their strongest song. I think it's like
I just
maybe the
I really
weakest
like
lead
it.
song. They
No.
single it. Maybe outside of the school era, maybe. I don't know. It's fine. I like the music video, but the song, I'm like,
I wish I knew more of it.
I never skip it, but like I
No.
never cue it either.
I need you, girl.
Can you say it again?
Wait, when that plays and I'm in the street, I feel like the baddest bitch alive. I'm just like, yeah, they do need me.
Yeah.
You need me. I don't need you. I do come back, but mainly they need me.
Right. MVP time.
MVP.
MVP. Who did we choose?
I give it to Jimin. I give it to Jimin for vocal and best looking Dope.
Yeah.
He was like across the board with the vocals, I think.
Mm.
And then I still can't get Dope Jimin out of my head, and I don't intend to. So I give it to Jimin.
Nice. Tash.
Mine, I picked J-Hope.
Nice.
I quite liked the outfit they wore in Dope, and I really like his rap in Moving On. I don't know, I think all songs it's like a different sound of J-Hope in each
Yeah.
song.
Nice. Yeah. I agonized
Where
a
did
lot
you
over
give
this
it?
one as well, but
Well, you can't give it to Sugar now, can you?
I
Because
won't.
they know.
I
Secret
I
sugar
wasn't
bias.
gonna. I wasn't gonna. But well, maybe I was torn at the end. I was like, oh, maybe it's because he's written all these really beautiful lyrics, and he's written this intro, and it's produced, and he's done all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
and
but
he
if you're
danced really well in Dope, even though
And he wasn't at the back. He was
I
at the
think
end,
he put in the work. I
flailing.
think he deserved it, but because I was aware that I couldn't always choose him, and I chose him for the last one.
When it was allowed-ish.
you can choose your prize, not every time. Yeah.
Yeah, so
If
you
they
can't
really-
choose him two times
If
in a row.
they really deserve it, they really deserve it. But no, I picked Jimin. I agonized between. I was gonna pick Tay for the longest time, but then I did all of my other awards, and then I was like, it's Jimin.
You could have given it to Tay for the rap.
Yeah,
Come
I mean,
on. I should have given it to Tay. No,
I,
I'm happy with
I
Jimin.
wrote that Tay has the most writing credits aside from the rappers, and it's a really good album for the low vocals and the growls because he does a lot of that, like the oh and like all that sort of stuff.
And he's super sexy throughout.
He is, yeah, but Jimin he looks beautiful in this era, and his singing's come such a long way, and he looks ever so cool and sexy, but like without the like out there bravado.
Without the angry, yeah. He's swaggy now.
He gets it for the personal growth, I think.
Most valuable player. Is it V or Jimin?
It's Jimin.
It's Vimin! Yes! Give it to Vimin! I give it
No,
to
that's
Vimin.
cheating. That's cheating. No. Yeah, and it was the eye contact and I Need Your live performances and how beautiful he looks in the bathtub. But then V's acting. But then it's
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Honourable mention for V.
Honorable mention, but yeah. It's
Maybe this is the time when V gets it though.
You're shaking your head. Why?
No, I mean, I don't think he should get it this time, but I think there is a album that is going to come up soon.
Okay.
So yeah. Right. Shall we do our final scores?
Right, go on, you go.
I thought this was a beautiful album, and at the end I was like, oh my god, I must give this a 7. It's beautiful. But then I was like, actually, there are albums that I prefer to this one.
Yeah, you can't say it's as good as Map of the Soul Persona.
No, but there are also albums that I'm like, oh my god, that's my favorite album. If I'm grading on a curve, it's 6.5.
The same as Love Yourself Hair.
Yeah, but as always, I would say before we did this podcast, maybe I didn't think that I would rate it this high, but the lyrics I really care about lyrics, guys. I love them. So yeah, it's massively increased my appreciation for this album.
6.5.
6.5.
That's so high.
Yeah. It was also because at the end of the review from Sugar, he said that this felt very memorable because it was packed with songs that they love and they got the first place and everyone participated. So it's a really special one. I was like, yes, it is.
So I give it a 6, which is higher than the School Era, but not as high as My Persona or Love Yourself Hair. It's a good album. I liked it. I really didn't hate it.
Right.
It's a 6 from Leanne. Well done, boys.
I'm the same as Leanne. I'm both picking between 5.5 and 6. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Nice.
But
that's what you give Love Yourself Hair. To be clear. See, that was my problem.
I'm trying to try to do it mathematically because I'm like, right, out of 9 songs, I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really much. So then that's quite high, but then I'm like, so I don't know, but I feel like 5.5 just seems too low.
See, you've got quite a spectrum, yeah, because you gave Are You Late to 4 and Too Cool for School 3.5. Yeah. So you've got more breadth. No,
but I feel like I'm kind of being like, Christine's got it a lot of high, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I do like this album, but I won't listen to that. Don't like that. Nope, get rid of that. And then it's like, out of them 5 that I like, I could whittle it down to even less.
You don't have to. You can give it a 6.
If Moving On went on, it'd be a 4.
What about Dope? And I need you.
Right, I'm going to go with it. Right, now you've just said that. I'm going to go solid 6. Because obviously Dope was first song. I'll just give it that. Extra 0.5 for Dope being the first introduction to BTS.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
It's a 6. What a brilliant album. What a good era.
Album. What a beautiful concept by BTS. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
for reminding us of the most beautiful moment in life.
Shall we see where we are going next?
Yes.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Let's move on from the most beautiful moment in life, part 1.
We're going to Wings.
Yay!
We're going to Wings. Died. All I've seen is a Wings tour. We watched that Wings tour until 4 in the morning. When we're like, let's just watch 10 minutes of this Wings tour.
This was my first comeback. Get ready for the feet.
Yeah.
Feet.
So first we're going to do the solos.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do the rest of the songs and then give the album a grade with the solos in.
Yeah, and we'll still do the categories for the solo songs. It's just,
I feel there's going to be so many good performances.
I know, yeah. If you've made it this far,
thank you.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you
4
so much
episodes
for
in.
listening. Yeah.
No, this is 7 episodes in.
Yeah, and also a long episode. I think it should be. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thank you very much, and rate us on Apple and Spotify if you want. The recommended rating is 5 stars, but obviously you can choose yourself. Right, do you want to tell us where they can contact us on social media if they want to attach, if they want to judge our opinions or get in touch with questions we've asked throughout?
Yes, so if you want to give us a message on Instagram, it's at generationbts_, or you can email us at generationbts@gmail.com.
Leanne, do you want to wrap it up with your quote?
Okay, so here's your daily reminder to use BTS to reject rejection because you're a bad bitch.
Yes, nice. Bringing it back to the first episode. It's a full circle we've done there. I hope you appreciate that, loyal listeners. If you're a new listener, you might not get it, but it's not as cheesy as it sounds. Anyway, I've been Christine.
I've been Leanne.
And I've been Natasha, and we have been
Generation BTS.